is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Wilton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Wilton Rayon, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Wilton Rayon can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Wilton Rayon can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Kane's Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Kane's Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A-Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A-Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Oh, it's 2 a week. Yeah, baby. Welcome aboard to the show. Yes, it's a good Monday. It's 2 a week. So that's all that matters, baby. Number one gets back into the mix. That's it. Get back on track. Get to the winning. Get to the playoffs, start making some noise. That's what it's all about, baby. I'm pumped, all right? I get it. Yesterday, unfortunately, they lost. You know, whatever, a bunch of ugly mistakes. It is what it is. Okay. Number one is back. It's 2 time. Can't wait, man. So I am pumped this week. Got the Heat back in action. We got Inter Miami tonight in the playoffs. We got the Panthers playing tonight against the Bruins. So it's thank God we've got Inter and the Panthers because, you know, the Monday night game is garbage. I mean, do you have to give me the Broncos again? Broncos country. Let's ride. No, I don't want any of that. So it's 2 a week. It's a good week, man. I love it. So remember, put a little pep in your step this week. Feel good. Okay, it's 3-3. I get it. It sucks. You were 3-0. All these setbacks, and yesterday a couple more on top of all of that. But listen, they're going to get some guys back. Hopefully this week, you'll get back some offensive linemen because it looks like Teron Armstead and Austin Jackson will come back this week, so hopefully you'll get much better play at tackle. You might be able to hide Eichenberg. I don't know. I would like to see them actually put somebody else in there. But anyway, so this week you get Tua back, man. So there's a lot to look forward to. I cannot wait. And hopefully even for the folks out there that are non-believers, who probably some of them have become believers now, you got to feel better that you get number one back this week. So to me, that was good. And it was sucked yesterday because Skyler was looking good. You know, Teddy did the best he can. Teddy is Teddy. It is what it is, whatever. But, you know, you'll get by. You'll get by. So while you're a little disappointed about the 3-3 mark, obviously a game that you had a chance. And I'll tell you this. One of the things that had at least for me personally is I know you got I feel good that you got the right head coach right now. You know, I like the way Mike McDaniel has coached through all of this. He coached his ass off yesterday. His players made a bunch of mistakes. Jalen Waddle made 2 brutal mistakes. You know, it just crap happened yesterday. Can't blame it necessarily on him. Josh Boyer, I thought called the hell of a game, but am I going to blame him for X? No, dude. You know, I can't do that. You know, those are things that your X, unfortunately, is not 100%. And you can tell that he's probably playing out there at 70 because he looks very mediocre for X. Very mediocre for a guy like Xavier Howard. But these are things that, you know, unfortunately have developed through all of this. And you got a very winnable game on Sunday night at home. The defense was, I think everybody's going to get a lift on Sunday night. I think the defense, who played their asses off yesterday, will get an even bigger lift with Tua coming back. I know the offense is going to get a hell of a lift with Tua coming back. Look, man, Tua could have played, you know, a couple weeks ago. Okay. All right. But the optics, you had to sit out these 2 games. This gives him the 24 days. He looked good on the sidelines, you know. So now you get him back, and hopefully everything now gets back on track too, and the boys will start winning and making everybody feel good, because that's all we need. Sunday night post game will feel good, you know. By the way, not only is it a good week, Sean, but the platform is going somewhere it's never been. I've been there many times. You've been there many times, but we have not taken the platform over to the Homestead Speedway. We'll be there on Friday. So any of you race fans out there, while we're doing our show, we also may have some guests out there at the racetrack. So we'll have some fun. You looking forward to a little Homestead action there, Sean, huh? Yeah, you know it. He loves his racing, man. So we will be out there on Friday. Looking forward to it. Broadcasting out there in Homestead. There's only one platform / whatever, anything that will go to the, you know, NFL draft, that will cover the NBA Summer League, that will go to Homestead Speedway, that will go to Dolphins camp, that will go to Heat Media Day. That there's only one. There's no station that does that. There's no platform that does that. Only this one. This is the only one. Why? Because we will strive to continue to grow and become your all sports, pretty much station, platform, whatever you want to call it. You know, tomorrow night we got our college football shows going on. Those things are expanding too in the process. Probably next week is when it'll expand if everything goes well. But we've got our college shows tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in to, by the way, we had a great outing. A bunch of you showed up to walk-ons on Saturday. Thank you very much. Place was just jam-packed. It was awesome. And obviously we had all the great prizes and giveaways. We were giving away Perdomo cigar cutters and lighters and hats. This hat, actually, we gave away this hat plus a cigar cutter and lighter. That was the package. We gave away walk-on prize packs, which had a gift certificate, a shirt, and a coolie. And we were giving away gift certificates from Kane's Wear. Gave away 4 of those, $25 gift certificates. And this week we're going to add taste testing. We're going to have Edge Energy drink out there. So we'll give you a taste testing out there. Plus, I don't want to mention which beer company is going to be out there also, but so walk-ons this Saturday, 12:30, Kane's and Duke. Get out there, get your table, join us. Walk-ons on Kendall, right off 162nd and Kendall Drive. Beautiful place, ginormous sports bar, TVs everywhere. It is just an absolutely awesome, awesome place. So thank you all for those of you that showed up, and we will continue to build it up over there at Walk-On. So thank you very much. Fins Up 71 says, Big O, hope we could get back on a winning streak. We lose our last. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea, and you got an opportunity to do that now with all these games. Tua's back and the throwbacks are back. Why don't we ditch the Aqua fresh beached whale and wash our colors permanently is beyond me. Well, eventually they'll figure it out, my brother. The Assault says the Dolphins need to stop holding on to draft picks. We need to win now. Trade deadline, team before a contender. If we don't, it means we're not sure about Tua. The Assault, my brother. See, the problem with fans is you're all unrealistic. That's the problem. You know, you sound just ridiculous. Oh, no, we just got to go make a trade. Well, first, dude, who are you trading? Who's available? What are they asking for? Is it too steep of a price? You have to be careful because at the deadline, that means you're trading for need and desperation, which means they will charge you a lot more for what you're trading. So it's not as simple. Like, you know, a buddy of mine goes to me, well, let's see if we could go get, I forgot who it was he wanted from Cleveland. And then we'll offer him Gesicki. And I go, well, they have Njoku and they're cap strapped. They can't take $11 million from Gesicki. And so it's just not that simple to make a trade. You know what I mean? It's these things have to be thought through. You have to make sure that the other team has the same kind of need. What is the compensation? Do they have a player that you need? Does he fit the system? What's his contract situation? Does he want more money? What's going on? There's a lot of things. It's not just that simple. Oh, we got to make a trade. It's not how it flies. That's not how it's done. And so it's just ridiculous by a lot of fans because, oh no, we should trade for this guy. Well, how do you know he's available? And what are they asking for compensation? Right? Look, Carolina has apparently turned down 2 people for Christian McCaffrey. So obviously the offers are either low or they're asking for too much for, yes, a very talented player, but extremely injury prone. So what's the price? What are they asking? You know, I don't know. So it's always fun how fans like, oh no, let's make this trade. No, we'll give them this. We'll give us that. And who told you that they're going to accept that? Who told you they want that? Just because you said it? So we love you, the Assault, but that silliness doesn't fly, my brother. Evan Posner says, Big O, great work. Fellow Libra turning 40 today. Can I get a shout out? Finns will be okay with Tua back. People are quick to jump off the bandwagon. Cheers from Montreal. Well, happy birthday, Evan. Happy 40th birthday, my friend. And thank you for giving us the present because obviously you chimed in with a super chat and we appreciate you immensely. Thank you, sir. And happy birthday. May you have a great 40 and enjoy a cold one on us. Big O, would you insert Robert Jones and Michael Dieter left guard to put Connor Williams at left guard and place Dieter at center? Donardo, what is wrong with some of you already with the whole Connor Williams thing? Do you guys realize that Connor Williams in just a few games played 10 times better than Michael Dieter ever did at center? Why would you put Michael Dieter at center when center is the most important position for Tua than the guards? Now, if you ask me that question, which I've already brought it up about Michael Dieter, Robert Jones for Liam Eichenberg, because Liam Eichenberg is bad. He's bad. He's not a guard. I've said this over and over now. I'm going to go with the NFL people that I trust. They think he's a right tackle. If he's going to be in this league, he's going to be a tackle, not a guard. He's the weak link. But this Connor Williams shit has got to stop already. Stop with Connor Williams. He's the center. End of story. I really wonder about some of your football IQ out there. Anybody that wants to move Connor at center, you really do not watch the games. What'd you do? Watch a low light yesterday that he maybe messed up once or twice? Is that what you did? Come on, dude. Jesus Christ, man. Couple of real doozies already in the morning. I have no idea what the hell you people are thinking. Connor Williams is playing at a Pro Bowl level almost at center. He's grading out as one of the top centers every single week. How is it that anybody wants to move him? The discussion now is Liam Eichenberg and why the hell he still has the job, and how bad is Michael Dieter and Robert Jones that they don't give them a shot at left guard. That's the question I'm really asking myself. How much does Michael Dieter and Robert Jones either suck or in the doghouse that they keep putting Liam Eichenberg out there at left guard? That's the real question going on the offensive line. There is no other question on the offensive line. It's just get Teron back and get Austin back healthy. Robert is fine and Connor is fine. Stop with the Connor Williams shit. Seriously, it really shows that you don't watch the line. It really shows that you don't know what the hell you're talking about if you want to move Connor Williams out of center. And when you have shorter quarterbacks, I will repeat it again and again and again. The most important position for a shorter quarterback is the center spot. They need somebody incredibly stout there that will not allow the pocket to crumble. So stop with the Connor Williams stuff. The only issue here is Liam Eichenberg. Are we clear on this? Okay? If you are arguing Connor Williams out at center, you know nothing about football. Are we clear on that? So if your buddy's telling you that, you tell him you're a dumbass. You're allowed to tell him you're a dumbass. And hopefully he will be, maybe not, but he'll at least maybe think about it and say, yeah, that was stupid on my part. My God. Liam Eichenberg looks like he's playing on 2 injured ankles and a busted shoulder, and he's healthy. Yep. I'm with you there. Why are the coaches being stubborn in placing Eichenberg? Does it have something to do with trading a draft pick to move up to get him, or the optics, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Either that or the other 2 guys are really, really bad. That's the only thing I can think of. All right. Big O, we can agree the Dolphins defense gets an A yesterday. Oh, yeah. No, the Dolphins defense was awesome yesterday, man. They were awesome. The injuries really, I mean, the injuries are hurting, but the penalties and the mistakes and all that bit your ass yesterday badly. Obviously the injuries are putting you at an incredible disadvantage. Obviously, you every time a quarterback prepares for the week, he doesn't get to play. That sets you back completely already. And Stillwater, whatever, he got some yards and all that, but he's just a guy. He's never going to be a difference maker. Big O, I know how they move on the Gesicki this year because Tanner Connor can't catch a single ball thrown his way. Yeah, he's had a couple screw ups, but he's young again. You know what I mean? So, Martin, if you're giving up on a person right away like that, a guy that's a receiver and they're converting him and all that stuff, and he's learning it at the NFL level, that's ridiculous also. You got to give people time to kind of grow into the position. But you got to give Tanner Connor some time. It's not one of those things that's going to happen right away. That's why he wasn't drafted in the first round or second or third or fourth or fifth, so there's a reason why he's a project. Liam had 2 early miscues. I think the coaches think that they can fix that with the younger player. Little was a disaster. Yeah, no, Little has definitely proven that he's not starter material. Little, Greg Little has proven that he was a terrible draft pick. Basically. Greg Little, instead of being, what was he, a second rounder, I think it was, right? I want to say, for the Titans. Greg Little proved that he should have been a seventh round pick and a project player is basically what he should have been. Yeah, he's definitely not good. But Liam Eichenberg, I think more than anything, he's out of place. I think if he has a chance to succeed, it'll be at right tackle. Not that I want him starting over Austin Jackson right now, because Austin looked like he was headed in the right direction in training camp in the preseason before that injury. We just can't seem to catch a break with injuries now. How concerned are you with the current O-line protecting Tua? Well, not if you get these two guys back. If Austin and Toronto are coming back, I think that's good. Either way, Tua's better than the guys they had playing the last couple games, and he'll make better decisions and quicker decisions than Skyler and Teddy anyway. And then the number two thing is you can say whatever you want, but the line was worse last year. So believe it or not, the line was worse last year than it is this year. Even with the backup tackles. Now, once you get Armstead and Jackson back, you should be all right. He should have enough time. They had enough time to make passes yesterday more often than not. There were times that they were pressured for sure, but you had enough time to make passes. I mean, they did pass for, what was it, 400 yards or something? How much was it? In other words, put it this way. If those two backup quarterbacks can combine for, let me get the exact yardage here for you. Okay. All right. There we go. 385 yards. Okay. If the two backup quarterbacks can pass for 385 yards, then Tua can pass for 585 yards. It's like, I hear that all the time. You know what it is? It's one lazy take, and then everybody then repeats it. Well, I don't know how Tua's going to do behind this line compared to these guys. I mean, aren't you worried about Tua? Well, these guys passed for 385 yards. 30 of 47. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. If they can do that, Tua can be much better than them, because Tua is way better than both of them. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. Yeah. Oh, well, if Tua lasts the whole season, so that's the new lazy take now. So everybody's now making it sound, again, narratives, that Tua misses the whole season. I'm sorry, I must have missed this. Does he miss the whole season, or he misses a couple games? Where are we going now? Same bullshit as always, dude. Same lazy-ass narratives that one moron says and another moron repeats and another moron repeats and another moron repeats. And that's why this world is full of morons, because morons will vote for Herschel Walker. And that's why we've got stupid people in this world. Okay? That's the latest. Well, I don't know if he can last behind this line. Well, the lines were worse. And he doesn't miss entire seasons. He misses a couple games. Okay, he misses a couple games. If this is the norm, he plays the rest of the year, apparently. Because that's what he does, right? That's what he's done the first couple of years. He's missed a couple games. Well, here you go. Here's your couple games. Why can't I go with that narrative? Because I have more proof that it's only a couple games. But all of a sudden, he's going to miss the whole year. The next concussion, he's done for his career. Last time I checked, aren't these the first 2 concussions we've seen him suffer? Well, we think they're 2 concussions, right? Some of us are saying 2 concussions. They're saying it's only 1. I don't know, whatever. But now we're also making it sound like he's constantly concussed. Like he's Jordan Reed, like he's Eric Lindros, like he's, who's the other guy that had a bunch of concussion issues for a long time? Oh, Steve Young. narratives. They haven't happened, but let's just label the guy already with that. It's fantastic, man. It's just fantastic. The assault. All I'm asking is to look into it. There's nothing to look into, my brother. There's nothing to look into. I don't deal in hypotheticals, my man. You know what I mean? When it happens, we'll talk about it. When you can make a trade, if somebody's available, like what was it last week? Oh, let's trade for Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers. Well, okay. Is he available? I don't know. Have I heard that he's available? No. I think somebody retweeted to me that one of the reporters says he thinks for sure Brian Burns will be traded by the deadline. Okay, but so far we've only heard Christian McCaffrey. We haven't heard Brian Burns. Okay, so now do we know the Dolphins are interested in Brian Burns? Do we know the Dolphins feel that he fits their system? Do we know what their compensation is? Are there any talks? I don't know. So I don't waste my time in talking about hypotheticals that then, because I've done this for 33 years now, okay? Since we're in, getting into late October, January will be 33 years. And I've done this in the past, and I told myself I'm not doing this. And I'm not doing the hypotheticals because then it more often than not, they never happen. And we spend our time talking about it over and over again for shit that never happens. So when we find out there's some talks between the two, then we can talk about it. Okay? If we find out Miami is connected to somebody, if we find out they're offering this or whatever, then we can talk about it. But I love the people. No, we'll give them this, and then they'll give us that. Yeah, I don't do that bullshit. I see it on Twitter. I see it on talk shows. I see it on television. They've got to fill airtime. So they want to fill it with bullshit. That's not my style. Don't care about that. Okay? And I don't care about creating narratives so I can get a rise out of your ass. That's not what this show's about either. Okay? So we don't do that. So when we find out about something that actually matters, then, Mr. Spock says, Big O, don't badmouth Herschel Walker. He could arrest you at a plastic G-Man badge. That's true. That's true. And I got to tell you, my weak state, I might not be able to break out of those plastic cuffs either. So put on those plastic cuffs. Remember that when you used to buy the policeman package that had those cheap little silver cuffs? I probably won't be able to break out of that. Teddy looked worse than Tannehill in the pocket awareness, spinning into pass rush on several occasions. Yeah, he's just he's just there. Stillwater is just one of those guys that he's just there, Great guy. Like I said yesterday on the show, Teddy Stillwater needs to just be a hard drive. That's all. A hard drive for Skyler, a hard drive for Tua. They plug in their USB and say, hey, Teddy, what do you see? And then Teddy breaks it down and helps him out and says, oh, I see this, that, now, because Teddy's super smart. So all Teddy, IQ-wise, it's through the charts. So he'll be able to help them. He has seen everything already, being in the league so long. So his education level is, at a master's degree. So he can help Tua that way, and he can certainly help Skyler. And to me, like I said yesterday on the show, yesterday was the day Skyler Thompson passed Teddy Bridgewater on the depth chart. And in my eyes, I would make Skyler my backup now because he looked competent and athletically, he gives you more than Teddy. And what you do is you can give him some reps every week, keep him fresh, and then have Teddy and Tua working on him constantly along with, obviously the quarterback's coach and everything. And you keep grooming him. But right now, you saw it yesterday. He just looks like the better quarterback overall. Teddy can keep you afloat. He didn't lose the game yesterday. I'm not going to, but Teddy is never going to be a difference maker. And that's the problem. He can only be, it's like Tannehill. Except Teddy's a real quarterback. He's just limited because the Lord did not give him enough ability. That's just the problem, unfortunately. It's not his fault. But Teddy's a guy that on his best day, he'll be a facilitator. He's not ever going to be a difference maker. Whereas Skyler has enough talent in him physically to be a difference maker. Is he one now? No, of course not. But he needs the experience and the knowledge and all that kind of stuff to kind of take that next step. So for me, Teddy would be my third quarterback and let me tell you something. The Dolphins should have 3 quarterbacks active now every week. I thought yesterday not having Reed Sinnett to win it was a mistake. That's the only thing I would disagree with what Mike McDaniel did yesterday. I think because of the bad luck you've had, I think it's important to have 3 quarterbacks. And I'd use this entire season to have Skyler and Teddy standing on the sidelines with each other and Teddy just filling him in on everything going on. And that way Skyler is into it mentally and all that and ready to go if something happens. That's the way I would handle the rest of the season. Personally, for me, that's how I would handle it. I don't think the Dolphins are so desperate of the guys that they're active that they're going to be hurt by having a third quarterback, active. And considering the terrible luck you've had this season with your quarterbacks in every game, I think it's imperative to have a third quarterback active. So once Tua comes back Sunday night, I would have all 3 active, and Skyler would be my backup, and Teddy would be my third guy playing that Don Strock type role for you older folks out there. Younger folks, Matt Moore, maybe. I would, but Matt Moore was a capable backup. So I don't know. I don't think we've had a guy like Don Strock in a while. And Teddy could be a guy and Stroker was even better than Teddy, actually. But, whatever. But I'm saying as a mentor, as a hard drive, that kind of stuff, that's how I would handle the quarterback position from here on out if I'm the Dolphins. I'm activating 3. And then next year, once you move on from Teddy, Skyler's ready to go. He's solid, ready to go as your backup, has a whole year of experience. But I think it's really important now for the rest of the season to have Skyler semi-prepared every week behind Tua. That's what I would do. Now, I don't know if they're willing to do that already. I don't know if they're afraid of insulting Teddy or something along those lines or what. So I don't know how they're going to play this game. You know what I'm saying? But I would at least keep them all 3 in there. Your hypothetical 500 passing to a Skyler would have thrown for 400 plus, ran 100 yards. My hypothetical, he didn't sustain an injury. Yeah, exactly. I think Skyler would have played better than Teddy. Yes, I agree with you, but he got injured, and I still think Tua is a much better quarterback than Skyler and Teddy anyways. He's going to see the field way better, have more anticipatory skills than all those guys. That's not even up for discussion. That's a whole different ball game. I know that our O-line has its problems, but Jesus, people, we had almost 500 yards of offense yesterday. Y'all act like they got sacked 10 times and couldn't move the ball at all. Half the sacks were Teddy's fault. The 6 sacks they gave up, I would give half of them to Teddy. That used to happen a lot with Ryan Tannehill. And not that Teddy is as bad as Tannehill. The problem with Teddy is he has no mobility. He is just, dude, he's Stillwater. I mean, it's what he is. So what are you going to do? Team is flawed, ladies and gentlemen. Same old Dolphins. Wash, rinse, repeat. Of course. Same old Dolphins, because Tua is exactly like the quarterbacks you've had here for the last 20 years. Yeah. No, of course. Same old Dolphins. Yeah. No, yeah. X not 100%. Byron Jones is out. Your 2 tackles are out. Yeah, no, same old Dolphins. Just some of you out there in the IQ department, You're just better off not commenting. You're better off not sending in a comment, because if I read it and it's dumb, we'll expose it. So you're kind of better off if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Or maybe Mike McCormick is like a Jets fan or a Patriots fan, and he's just wanting to, troll or something like that. If you're trolling, Mark, then that's fine. But if you actually mean it, you're kind of stupid, bro. Mike McDaniel he coached his ass off yesterday, bro. Josh Boyer, all you guys that were complaining about Josh Boyer, he coached a hell of a game yesterday. That loss was on the players. I can't blame Mike McDaniel or Darrell Bevel or anybody on offensive staff for Waddle's 2 monster screw-ups. Whether you're Connor Williams with, you were downfield for no reason at all, whether you're Ingold and you're, committing a penalty. Players screwed up yesterday. The coaches put them all in positions to win yesterday. They coached their ass off. The only guy that's that I can question is it Crossman, or Crossman is the name of is it Danny Crossman, the name of the special teams coach, right? The special teams coach is the one guy that I would question. The fake punt, the Jason Sanders inconsistencies. I'm not ready to give up on Sanders yet, because he's been really good for a while, and then now he's kind of got into a funk. I'm going to wait a few more games before I've given up on him, but it's his job to correct Jason Sanders. Now, I can't blame him that Flo ended up trading away his returner, okay? Because I am one of the few Jakeem Grant guys. I did not want to see him traded. I did not overreact with some of his fumbles, because I thought in the big picture, he produced. What you didn't want to do is use him too much as a receiver, and he would have been perfect in these kind of offenses now, because you don't need him. And that's one thing that I worry about on the return game, and that I can't really blame the special teams coach that he doesn't really have a returner. They've got to go find one now. And they probably went a little bit on the cheap. They didn't have a lot of draft picks, so that kind of hurt. And then they've kind of gone in street free agency, and they haven't been able to find one. But to me, I would have never traded Jakeem. But you had Flo here, and he was just muddying the water, and what are you going to do? So, Big O, this O-line is killing the team.
Hey,
it's injuries, my brother. Yes.
No, we have Ira standing by.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot. All right, here we go. I'm rambling on. Here we go. Let's get into a little basketball. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Apologies, Ira. I'm sorry. I guess that's why I'm a talk show host. I can talk a lot of shit.
You're very good at that. You fill the time rather well.
Yes. I truly apologize. It's here. We finally made it through the off season. We got it going Wednesday, right? Was it Wednesday, right? Am I correct?
Wednesday night, 7:30, FTX Arena, yep. Chicago Bulls.
Yes, sir. And they're healthy, right?
Yes.
Which is,
they're healthy.
That's really nice to start the season off without a couple guys banged up and all that. You're going to get a nice, strong feel for the Heat early on what Spo is going to try to accomplish.
In really meaningful games, because as we discussed here in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports, Wednesdays on our redrecover.com Inside the Paint, the East is so competitive, and the Heat are opening with 4 consecutive Eastern Conference games against the Bulls, against the Celtics, showdown of last season's Eastern Conference Finals, 2 against the Raptors. And as we know in tiebreakers, conference games can count double. So these will all be big games, all important, and they're all at FTX Arena, and you can't waste your home games. So a strong start is important. The Heat scheduled their preseason, so they were done last Wednesday. They basically have had a full week of preseason, pre-regular season training camp to get in order. We seem to know the regular season starting lineup with Tyler Hero and with Caleb Martin. And now we'll see, even though Big O, the roster is the same, I think so many of the roles have changed. We'll see if this mix works. A lot of the faith of Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg was, yes, we lost PJ Tucker, but yes, we can get more out of what we already had in place. We did not maximize through absences, through injuries, through inefficiency. Everyone has to take a step up. So yes, same roster, but I believe completely different and new expectations.
Oladipo has not exploded like you hope he would having this opportunity. Do you expect him to explode and take advantage of this opportunity? And then the follow-up to that would be, if he fails, who's the man that needs to take over instead in that role?
You know, Big O, if you were to ask me about 10 days ago about Victor, I'd say, well, they're just holding him back. He's going to come out. He's going to explode. And then it's been a real thud and a real dud. And I'm concerned right now. And you know, I've been on with you in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports on Monday and Friday saying Victor Oladipo is the swing state. He can determine this Miami Heat election. I'm not looking at it that way anymore for a few reasons. One, you're going to see more Tyler Hero more actively involved. Two, if Max Strus is going to the bench, he's going to have a bigger role among the reserves right there. Three, Duncan Robinson did step back a little toward contributor in the preseason. And Victor Oladipo has done absolutely nothing to inspire confidence whatsoever. And that's a real concern. So, what I'd say is this. You still have Gabe Vincent there, and Gabe Vincent will not play if Victor Oladipo takes a large role, especially now with Tyler going to play some backup point guard also. So you know what? Eric Spoelstra has always gone with the sure things. He's gone with the things that make him comfortable. I don't know if we overstated the Victor Oladipo thing when it comes to Eric Spoelstra simply feeling comfortable with going with Gabe Vincent a little more. The rotation is going to be interesting. I still think he tries to make it work with Victor Oladipo, but I think at the first sign of, hey, this isn't right, I think he moves in another direction. If you were asking me, Ira, what was your disappointment of the preseason, I would say it's Victor Oladipo.
And the direction you're convinced would be who?
The direction I would go right now is just play more minutes for Tyler Hero, both starter off the bench, go more with Gabe Vincent. And now I know you're saying, hey, Ira, Gabe's a limited player. He's only going to give you so much. But again, what are we really talking, Big O? If we're talking starting lineup of Adebayo, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and Tyler Hero, then off the bench, you're probably going to see at least one big. I think we both agree. I know you might want it to be Jovic. I'm thinking Dedmon just for now, sixth man. Seventh man.
But you're too, right?
Yeah, you know what? If there was disappointment 1-1A of the preseason, I'll get to that in a second. I think it might have been Omar Yurtseven. So let's just say any big off the bench. You can go we'll go to a Chinese menu here.
It'll definitely be Dedmon for sure. I mean, there's
so if Dedmon's in there in the top 6, Max Strus in there in the top 7, then all of a sudden when you get to that 8-man, let's get it going in the second half lineup, Victor Oladipo has to prove his way ahead of a Gabe Vincent, or else it can get awfully interesting, not even mentioning Duncan Robinson. And Yurtseven with that ankle injury, and it's still ongoing. And he missed the last practice. I was hoping he would take this by the horns. And you and I would be sitting here 2 days before the start of the regular season going, damn, Ira, Yurt is exactly what we thought he would be. They really try to make it work in camp. They just haven't had the sample size. And again, I think Eric Spoelstra goes with his comfort food when it comes to his early season rotation.
Okay. All right. Is this, well then, just again, if Oladipo doesn't become that factor, then what I'm afraid of is that you're putting more weight of the world on Jimmy Butler. And what has to happen this year, Ira, Jimmy cannot be the end-all, be-all every single night. He's going to need some guys to take that pressure off of him, and that's why you want Oladipo to get it done. So if not, then bam, is he going to be ready to take that next step, the 18 shots, all that stuff that they talked about? Is he ready to not be Barkov and Huberdeau, but be that stud, that next step there? You know what I'm saying?
In other words,
I call him the super role player. Can he be a franchise player?
And here's the thing, and it's interesting. We all talk about shots. He averaged the 15 last year. You know, he spoke about this 17. Pat Riley spoke about that number. Bam said maybe 18. You know what I'd like to see go up, Big O? Are the free throws per game. He averaged 6.1 last season. I'd like to see him get aggressive because, again, if you make a shot, woo, it's 2 points, yay. If you foul the other team's big man, a Joel Embiid, a quality big man, he's in foul trouble. You're slowing the game. You're setting your defense. You're getting to the foul line. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. What we know of Bam's offense is this. When he's playing in the elbow and facilitating, he tends to shoot that mid-range jumper. That's not a high probability of getting a foul. I'd like to see him be more aggressive. Again, he is a little undersized at 6'9", but I'd like to see, instead of the shot total, and we're talking field goal attempts here, folks, I'd like to see the free throw numbers go up. Because you mentioned to me just now how Jimmy Butler can't do it all. What makes Jimmy great is he gets to the foul line. He slows the game. He gets the other team in foul trouble, and he lets the Heat set their defense. I want to see more of that from Bam, and I want to see more of that from Tyler Hero also. I want to see Tyler Hero get to the line more often. Again, it helps your defense. It gets the other team in trouble. And if you truly can be a creative scorer, that takes the pressure off Lowry. That takes the pressure off Jimmy Butler. So I would look for both of them saying, hey, shot totals are one thing. That could be just two, easy calories or whatever. But get the other team in foul trouble also and set it up. That helps you in so many ways, in myriad ways. So I think getting to the foul line more for Bam and for Tyler, that's something I'd like to see.
Well, and listen, I know he's 6'9", but wasn't Zoe 6'10"? And he's probably more athletic than Zoe. He probably has more lift than Zoe. So if he can, the thing is, he's working more on his outside than he's working on his inside game, correct?
Well, that's what he's showing us, but we don't know behind the scenes if he's working on one thing. But the Heat big men coach, Malik Allen, Alonzo Mourning, other guys are saying, hey, but also work on this, the up and unders, the other kind of stuff. You know what? It's interesting, Big O. You mentioned his height, you mentioned his athleticism, you mentioned his weight and all of that. I think there's a mental aspect to it. Well, Bam Adebayo, can you get some of that Jimmy Butler MFer? You know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah.
I don't care if I got the all defensive player in the league on me. I don't care if Rudy frickin' Gobert at 7'1" is there. I'm going through his chest. I'm going to take it right at him. Some of that is mental. Bam is a really nice guy. You're talking
about what Rodman had, what Barkley had, what Tyrone Muggsy Bogues had. That thing that they have to overcome some kind of physical deficiency.
Right.
But when they played on the court, it didn't look like it because they overcame it one way or another. And I know what you're talking about. And it's that dog that you don't. Bam is such a nice guy.
Yes.
You kind of like him to be a little bit more like Jimmy, a little bit more of a son of a bitch.
Right. You'd love to bring him home to meet the, Alzagari daughter. I get that. He's a nice person. But on the court, you know what? So many of these guys who could be nice guys off the court or MFers on the court. Look at Chris Paul. What a son of a bitch that guy is. Look at what Kobe Bryant was. Players loved him, but when he was on the court,
Jordan.
Dwayne Wade was breaking his freaking nose during an All-Star game. It was just different. I think if we
By the way, Tim Hardaway was like that. Alonzo Mourning was like that, okay? Those guys weren't going to take any shit from anybody, too, and they weren't going to take shit from teammates, and they were going to hold people accountable, and they were going to be dogged on the court. So
that whole team, PJ Brown, you were in the locker room, nicest human in the face of the world, but on the court, he would send Charlie Ward spinning. Dan Marley, male model, but on the court, he would be tough. He would be in your grill. I think we need a little more of that out of Bam, but you know what? Sometimes it's just not in people's personalities. So how do you draw that out? I think that'll be the interesting part because you know what? I don't want to say the Heat big men are soft. That's underselling them, but let's look at the Heat big men outside of Dedmon. Omar Yurtseven, finesse player. I think you'd agree with that. Nikola Jovic. I mean, he's a twig. He's Gumby.
Oh, he's a young kid right now.
But finesse player. You can only go so far with so much finesse. Among the reasons that the Celtics got as far as the NBA Finals is because Robert Williams is one tough SOB defensively and on the boards, and that makes a difference. And that helped them overcome Al Horford and his perimeter-based game. You need to be a little bit more of that. The Sixers are great when Joel Embiid is being a beast inside. The Sixers are beatable when Joel Embiid goes, I'll just shoot some three-pointers, and that's why you encourage that. So when you look at this Eastern Conference, can the Heat get a little feistier, a little more angry?
Okay, so The Panthers had to break up their two because they needed a son of a bitch in the locker room. And Kachuk is a lot like Jimmy Butler. Okay. So now you know you're going to need another son of a bitch. And while Lowry has a little bit of that in him, he doesn't really possess the wherewithal to carry the team offensively night in and night out with Jimmy. So if Bam Adebayo doesn't turn into that SOB, who's the other guy on the team that isn't named Lowry, that isn't named Bam, that could be that SOB next to Butler?
It has to be the $130 million man. It has to become Tyler Hero. Look, he has the confidence. He has the swag and the swagger. He's shown all of that. But you know what? It's funny because I'm just writing my Heat capsules in the background here, waiting to come on the air. And that's what I wrote about Tyler. He's done it all against second-team defenses. He's done it all defending as a second-team defender. What now if he has to do it against starters? This is when we'll see. Being sixth man of the year means you do it against other teams' reserves for a big part of your minutes. Can he do it against the main men? That's what we're going to see this season. That's why he's being thrown into the starting lineup. Might not be the Heat's best rotation. I wrote in my Sunday column at sunsentinel.com. It's not the Heat best rotation. But you know what? When my investment starts next year, I need to start seeing this year that he can compete on that level. So, yeah, I want to see him play with a little more of that swag also. I want to see this Heat team. Look, this is not a sexy team. They're not getting national TV games. They're getting no preseason respect. Just like those Heat teams under Riley in the late 90s. Just like some of these feistier Heat teams in recent years that overachieved. This is not the big three anymore. This is not the glory team. I think this team needs to get in the mud, to get down and dirty, and kick sand in your face during the game.
Duncan Robinson, he teased me. He said, oh, I have improved my game. I can do more than just shoot threes. Was that real or Memorex?
Two factors here. Look, anytime a player steps forward, you have to praise him for making the effort, and we saw that in the preseason. But did the Heat also feature Duncan in the best possible spots coming off the bench to showcase him, to show that there's value out there? Do we trust Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, and Adam Simon for a second that there isn't plan B there? Because he's their only tradable contract now that you've extended Tyler, basically taken him off the trade market. So I would not be surprised if Duncan is in the rotation to start the season, even if maybe if Oladipo is out for that reason. He's your asset. Maybe another team goes, wow, that kid's back to where he was 2 years ago. He's a good third wing. It might be interesting. Then all of a sudden he can go ahead and make some deals and have some maneuverability. Yes, Duncan Robinson did what you asked him in the preseason. God bless him. I believe that he positioned him for success, which won't be as easy not playing against Exhibit 10 players and players who've since been cut during preseason. So we'll get to see. But I think they're going to try to showcase Duncan because, one, it works to their benefit. And if he's productive, it works to his benefit also. So I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship there as well.
Mentally, physically, he seems ready for this role. But he doesn't have the experience to play in that role. The question is, will he be able to execute what you see from him mentally and physically? And I'm talking about Haywood Highsmith. Here's a kid that may come into play this year where they're not strong at power forward.
Right.
And yet you're around that kid. You sense it that he's not, the moments don't get too big for him, but he doesn't have the experience to say, yeah, for sure he can do this job. Your thoughts on Haywood Highsmith as being a guy that, how much can you rely on him coming off that bench to help out in the power rotation?
You know, it's really interesting. I think the opportunity for Haywood Highsmith depends on the success of Caleb Martin. I'll tell you why. If Martin is successful as a small ball power forward, and all of a sudden he goes, hey, this is working pretty well. He's on the perimeter shooting threes. He can be an undersized but versatile, switch everything defender. Then in the games that Caleb Martin is in foul trouble or is out because of injury, you have plan B waiting in the wings, a reasonable facsimile in Haywood Highsmith. So I think if the small ball approach works, if they can stay effective on the boards and guard opposing bigs, I think Caleb Martin will open the door for Haywood Highsmith to get his opportunities. Conversely, if it doesn't work with Caleb Martin and you have to go bigger with Jovic, with Yurtsevin, with Dedmon, with other possibilities of bigger guys, then I think Haywood Highsmith becomes, hey, we're not playing this system anyway. You're back to 12th man. So really, it's almost as if Caleb Martin will pull on that rope and pull Haywood Highsmith with him if it works. You know, Spo wants to make it work. When they let PJ Tucker go and they didn't replace him, they said, we want to give this a run. And I think for the first 5, 10, 15, 20 games, they will see they have always made early season lineup adjustments. Would not be surprised to see it again. So to me, Highsmith is dependent on Martin.
Jovic, very surprising how he's played in the preseason. He's played really well, but obviously rail thin. But I was thinking about this. I was thinking, okay, so if you do have to play him in the power rotation, all right, kid's a little skinny, needs a couple of burgers. He might get pushed around a little bit. But if you play him at small forward and you look at his skill set, he just might be a little bit of a mismatch at small forward. So how do you look at Jovic? I know he doesn't have experience, so that's going to be a detriment. He's got to grow. He's got to learn all that. But he did show me something, and he showed me a skill set that might be not ready for one side of the court, but on the other side, he might be able to help you out. So your thoughts on small forward and power forward for Jovic?
I think he would be a defensive deficit at power forward. I think he would be a defensive disaster at small forward because of the quickness. But no one plays power forwards anymore. For example, the Heat are going to open the season. Probably Javonte Green's going to be the Bulls' starting power forward. You're going to have Patrick Williams, relatively undersized, as the backup four. What I would like to see is this. Look, I've come around on this, Big O. I want to see Jovic minutes early in the season because I'm really intrigued by the guy. Yeah. I would like to see Eric Spoelstra in the second quarter at some points when the game, is still sort of, going either way, to spot Jovic in a little against the opposing backup power forward. See what he can do against that level of talent, whoever it might be at the start of the season, maybe even going against a Precious Achiuwa or a Khem Birch when Toronto comes in, someone that doesn't automatically make you say, Chris Boucher, another guy. They play undersized bigs. I would like to see Nikola Jovic get some second quarter minutes, and then if it works or the game is too close, either way, you play or don't play him in the second half. But yeah, for a number 27 draft choice, his offensive bag of tricks and how he works so well with other players. And you know what, Big O? Maybe that's when he goes zone defense. Because if he goes zone defense, you always have his length where you want him to be as opposed to where the opposition wants him to be also. So I think Eric Spoelstra, I kind of hope that he has a package. He has a secret envelope there for Jovic. I would like to see him early in the season, and I never thought until the last 2 weeks I would have told you that.
Well, I mean, if there are moments you want to go big, and if Bam does improve his outside game, you put Dedmon at center, you put Bam at power forward, and you put Jovic at small forward.
You're going zone then. Then you're going zone because this is the league. The wings are too good. The wings will eat you alive. They'll get him on his hip. They'll get him in foul trouble. But again, it's interesting. Both Omer Yurtsevin and Nikola Jovic have told me, well, if we play zone, it could work for me. And then you say, well, if you're going to start Tyler Hero, you could hide him in zone. And if you're going to play a second unit of Strus and Robinson together, you might have to play zone there. Well, all of a sudden, you don't have a base defense. All of a sudden, you're not your MF or Miami Heat switch everything. So you can't go zone to make everyone happy because that just says you have a lot of crappy defenders. Zone as a change of pace can work. Zone when Jovic comes in for 3 minutes in the second quarter can work. Yeah. And you can spot that and maybe even spot it with your bigs. But my God, any NBA wing against Nikola Jovic. I mean, poor kid. Like he might just hit on the first boat back to Serbia.
Yeah, but it might be kind of a end of quarter, end of game type of defense.
Limited doses, yes.
Right. That's where you want to play a little bit of a zone, and then you want to make sure you get that rebound and you put a lot of length in there at the same time. So, it's kind of interesting. Are you looking at them as a top 4 seed in the NBA?
Hell yeah, for this reason. The regular season matters to the Miami Heat. This is not a team that at any point is going to go, we're in the playoffs, we got a top 6, we don't have to worry about playing in the play-in, we're going to be fine. That's not how these crazy MFers are. They make every game a must-win game when they play that game. They might rest Lowry or Butler on the second night of back-to-backs, but you know what, Big O? Those guys have missed so much time in recent years. I think they want to show that at their ages they can still do it. Jimmy Butler has not played more than 60 games in the last 5 seasons. I think at his price point, he has to show that. Kyle Lowry, going into the last year of his deal next year, needs to show that he can be available, personal, family, situation allowing. So, I think the Heat will play to win during the regular season. I don't know if Joel Embiid will. I don't know if Mike Budenholzer and the Bucks necessarily will. So I think the opportunity will be there for the Heat to finish with the top 4 record in the East.
Hey, with Lowry, I have no problem with his personal issues. If it's family related,
family first.
That's first
family
and foremost.
Right.
Stay away from the drive-thrus. That's all I'm asking, bro.
You know what? I think he has. I think he's determined. So let's judge him by his productivity. Just posted a story at sunsentinel.com how the Heat will ask less of Kyle to do it all because now you have a playmaker in Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo in the starting lineup. I want to see Kyle Lowry at moments of truth. I don't care if he only scores 8 points, Big O, but if 4 of them are in clutch time, that's what I want to see.
All right, make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ira Heapy. Catch his work 3 times a week here on the platform and every day at the Sun Sentinel. Make sure you subscribe and support all of our local journalists. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Enjoy the week. We will catch you. We'll be there in game 2. We'll be in the second home game. We'll
See you Friday night and Wednesday at 9 a.m. with Kurt Hela and our RedRecover.com Inside the Paint Show. We're going to break down this season's Heat roster, what has to come next for all 16 players on the roster. So make sure you tune in then, 9 a.m. Wednesday, Kurt Hela and RedRecover.com Inside the Paint. Thanks, Big O.
A season opener special on Inside the Paint, baby, on Wednesday.
For no extra charge.
That's right. There you go. Ira, thank you as always, my friend. Appreciate you. And, of course, visit our great friends at Acura, Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. They got a great selection, new, certified pre-owned. And tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Larry Schlossberg and the great people out there at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. There we go. I am looking forward to the Heat season. And I will say this. I've always been the guy that makes fun of the regular season in the NBA because it doesn't matter much. But it actually, lately, it has mattered now for the Miami Heat. It's very important for them because the race is so tight. They're going to need the best positioning possible. Yesterday, there was history being made yesterday. I don't know if you know that, Sean, but history was made yesterday for the Miami Dolphins. A lot of people don't know this, but Mike McDaniel, he, became the first coach ever in Dolphin history to come to work in a backpack. The backpack generation has moved up to the upper echelon of the NFL. That's right. Head coach with a backpack and a BMW there. I mean, he may not be the first coach driving a BMW for the Miami Dolphins, but backpack, think about that. So the kids that went with when did the backpack really start? Like in the 90s, I want to say, right? Maybe late 80s, right? So that's what we looked like when we were going to Dade South. I think that's when I had my first backpack, maybe Dade South. Okay? Might have been late 80s. I don't know. No, that was like mid 80s, actually. But either way, maybe it was the later 80s or early 90s or whatever. I don't know. But that was kind of the norm, right? But, Brian Flores didn't come to work in a backpack, and neither does Adam Gase. And you can't expect to see Don Shula with a JanSport. You know what I'm saying? So pretty cool that the backpack era of kids has grown up to the point now that they're head coaches in the NFL. I don't know how many people kind of looked at that and thought about that, but it's interesting that, we've got a backpack head coach. I don't know how many NFL teams have young enough coaches that actually carry a backpack to work. But you could tell things have changed in the NFL, right? Generations growing up with what was the norm for them. Does anybody know what kind of bag that is? Not that I want it. I'm not looking to buy the bag or anything. But it clearly is some kind of designer bag, right? I would imagine. Because it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like the stuff that you go get at Walmart. Okay? Although, do they even sell these plain-ass bags anymore? Because I see kids, all their bags are kind of stylish or personalized or stuff like that. Does anybody buy a JanSport anymore? David Lebo says Gucci. That's a Gucci? Holy shit. And that's an expensive one. Oh, and that's an Audi? Okay. You know what? I thought it was a BMW. You know why? I thought, look, that logo there looks BMW. Right there, you see the blue and I don't know if you could see it from the TV, but that right there looks like a BMW logo, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is an Audi. Listen, I'm not this car expert, so I'll take your word for it. If you guys say it's an Audi, I'll take your word for it. I'm not exactly sure. McDaniel's starting to concern me. Why? Because of the backpack or he coached his ass off yesterday, dude. He was fantastic. I mean, that young quarterback looked prepared. That's coaching, man. I'm sorry. Fourth and Goal's asking, good morning. Do the Dolphins now trade for a DB like the one that the Commanders are now dangling out there? Well, we'll see. Will Jackson you're talking about? Again, all depends on what they're looking for. How much, what are they asking for? Remember, you already paid Needham. So he's got to come back next year. You've got Byron Jones. You've got X. So if you trade for a guy that you're going to have to pay a lot of money for down the line, then you've also got some cap issues you've got to address too. So are you going to pay somebody and trade the pick for? Or is Byron Jones coming back and can you get X healthy? And Kader Kohou should be back this week, and hopefully he can help you out. It's not that simple. Okay? Karen says, word on the street is the backpack has the customized ping pong paddles Hill was asking for. He's holding them hostage until the Finns start winning. I like it. Okay. I'm all for that. Lisa says, definitely looks like a Beamer. It looks like a Beamer to me. But again, I'm not a car, I'm not a car expert. So I'm not going to sit here and argue with you guys. No, that's an Audi. No, that's a Beamer. I'll take your word for it, bro. Sports, music, crypto. Let's go. Let's go. Let's discuss. Let's argue. Let's go back and forth. Cars, not my forte. I enjoy them. They're cool to look at, drive, whatever, but I'm not an expert. So I'll take your word for it. If you guys think it's a Beamer or a Audi, it is what it is. But it looked like a Beamer to me. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Fantastic. Other than the fourth quarter of the Ravens game, the offense averaged 16 points per game. McDaniel's overrated. Yeah, no, of course. They're overrated. 3-0 after all the injuries. Now they're 3-3, so he's overrated. And Skylar Thompson looked well prepared. Yeah, he's so overrated. Andrew Moore, good morning. Oh, today's my kid's 9th birthday. Can you give a shout? Mackenzie, Brandon, and Nathan. Mackenzie, Brandon, Nathan, hello, and happy 9th birthday. Shout out there to Mackenzie. Well, Brandon and Nathan. So wait a minute. You gave me 3 names. Okay, today's my kid's 9th birthday. Which one of them? A shout? Mackenzie, Brandon, and Nathan. Well, Mackenzie, Brandon, and Nathan, hello. And whichever one of you 3 is celebrating a 9th birthday, happy birthday. And I'll try not to cuss while you guys are in the car or at the office or wherever you guys are watching the show. Yan Sport are still out and about. I still wear one. Yeah, but Brandon, you're probably like me. You're an old fart. Young kids aren't using those kind of boring ass backpacks anymore. They're all colorful. They're a Spider-Man or a Stranger Things or whatever, anything that's of hipness for them. Fortnite or something. That's kind of what these, at least that's what it looks like. I see all these backpacks all over the place. We used to broadcast over at in West Pines. I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but it was kind of a place where they sold CBD products and all kinds of stuff, and they had all kinds of stylish and colorful backpacks and all that kind of stuff. So I see it with the kids all the time. They don't have those boring ass Jan Sport bags. They require something a little bit more stylish. Big O, I feel McDaniel did a great job with the hand he was dealt, and anyone who can't see it must have Ray Charles shades on while watching the game. Well, that's not every fan is an educated fan. Some of them are just fanatical, like that guy that, thinks that, McDaniel is overrated. 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayon text line. By the way, Alan Poopar is going to join us in hour number 2, which we're already in, and I got to take a quick break here at 11:30. Andy Behrens at noon. Get your fantasy football questions ready for Andy. And Michelle Kaufman also can join us at 12:30 to talk a little soccer with Inter Miami in the playoffs. Yes, Sean.
Well, Andrew Moore came back on. They're triplets. So all 3 of them, it's their birthday.
So wow. Happy birthday to the triplets. That is awesome. That's fantastic. Wow. And that's a hell of a woman, by the way. Kudos to her. On top of all, you better take care of that woman, man, forever. Okay? All right? 3 kids at once. She's an MVP, bro. For life. Wow. Women are so special in many different ways. They're stronger and mentally tougher than us, even if you guys don't want to admit it. And then they've got that power of beauty of producing 3. Wow. Happy birthday, kids. Enjoy it. Now, because you're triplets, I don't know if Dad told you this, okay? Don't let him turn off the whatever it is you're watching it on right now. Okay, don't let him touch it right now. I'm going to give you guys a secret that he probably didn't tell you. Triplets are supposed to get 3 gifts each for their birthdays. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. So if you're only getting 1 each, Dad's shorting you of a couple there. Just saying. I'm here to negotiate for you guys. Help you out a little bit here. Okay? Triplets automatically. It's written there. It's part of the 11 commandments. I don't know that. See, they're probably telling you there's only 10. That's not true. Thou shalt give their kids 3 gifts on every birthday if they are triplets. It's just, there's a fact. Watch, there's 395 people right now on the chat board. Okay? Folks, am I lying here or not? Don't triplets get 3 gifts? Yes or no? Watch. They're all going to back me up on this. So make sure Dad gives you each 3 gifts today. Dad'll never tune into the show again. There's a yes. There's a yes. Absolutely. What is wrong with you, Victor Huertas? What, you do you have triplets too? 3 is the key, you see? See? Big O is correct. Yes, 3 gifts. Absolutely 3 gifts each. It's the law. You see what I'm saying? I told you, kids. There you go. Couple people are misinformed, like your dad. He's probably not telling you, but 3 gifts. It's written down. See, they definitely get 3+. There you go. Big facts. See, Ian from Brooklyn knows. Big facts. Okay. I'm just trying to, I got to defend the kids here. It's my job. All right, let's take a quick break here. Give me 2 minutes. We'll be back to start off hour number 2, which we're already into right here on the Big O Radio Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Sloman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A-Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A-Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Yes, hour number 2 already started on the program. Yes, we are ready to go. By the way, Andy Behrens will be joining us at noon. And if you got any fantasy football questions, make sure you send them in to our Wilton Rayon text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Send them in on the Wilton Rayon text line. Don't put them down on the chat board because there's too many people on the chat board and it'll get lost by noon, which we're still 45 minutes away. you're better off sending them on the chat board, on the Wilton Rayon text line, by the way, at 855-912-1056. And you could just hold on to them and wait. And at noon, then you can start posting them on our YouTube channel, or you can send them in on a super chat. And that would also be another way that you can reach out to us. Remember, you can donate through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Why? We get the whole donation on Cash App and Venmo, whereas on Super Chat here on YouTube takes 30%. Like, they don't have enough money. But anyway, it is what it is. But, what are you going to do, as always? Leon Fresco says, Big O, would you let Tua play behind Sunday's line? I guess he wasn't listening to the beginning of the show. Wasn't the line worse last year? So, yes, I would play. Okay? They didn't have Connor Williams last year at center. And Robert Hunt is now a top 5 guard, top 10 guard in the league at right guard. And if you're getting Teron Armstead back, you'll be fine, bro. And hopefully Austin Jackson, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. That's an overreaction to a whole bunch of people overreacting for no reason at all. Big O, that was super funny. I'm sure the triplets' dad is regretting requesting the shout out. Also, the kids will never forget it. Nice job, Orlando, building good memories. Well, thank you very much. But you got to defend the children. It's all about the children. So I see the children are celebrating a birthday. Well, you got to appreciate that every single day, man. So we good. Overreaction Monday. That's exactly it, Darren. Or Panic Monday for some. Big O, been listening to you since you debuted on QAM. Glad to have found you again online. Do you think Jackson is back for the Steelers? And what are they going to do with Liam? Brother, I don't know what's going on with Liam Eichenberg. And that tells me, while I want Michael Dieter to get another shot, why isn't Michael Dieter or even Robert Jones getting a shot over Liam Eichenberg? Liam Eichenberg is terrible. He's the weak link of the team on that O-line. Like, he is bad, dude. You got to change it. Okay? And by the way, thank you for listening to me brother. I was listening to Joe this morning, and I was listening through the app. My God, that company is so broke. Every commercial break are PSAs. The same 4 or 5 PSAs. Every time I listen to that station, and on radio you have so much interference, so screw that. But then I'll listen to it on the app. I like Joe, man. Joe does a good job. And so the commercial breaks, oh my God, they are so broke. It's, that's why they keep getting rid of people. Eventually there'll be nobody on. I mean, when Joe retires here January, February, when he's gone, I don't know what's going to be left on that station. Like, there's nothing, dude. Nothing. And listen, I want to thank them. That's why we're absolutely kicking their ass. So we appreciate it. But, wow, they have, Odyssey, destroying sports radio one station at a time, baby. Way to go. Way to go. That is amazing. And I don't even know how anybody even advertises on that shit. Because, who the hell is listening to that crap? Are you going to listen to half-hour commercials? I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, and what have I taken, 2 minutes? The commercials are here. Look, see? Red Recover. Use our code, Big O. Get 10% off. That's how we do things. That's how people want it. You can't have people sitting there for 7-8 minute commercial breaks and traffic. You got Waze, bro. Sports update. You got a phone. It's stupid shit that they put up for nothing, just to waste your time and throw in all kinds of ads that you're not listening to anyways. It's amazing. It really is how it is so behind the times, right? And then when you hear the broadcasters they're repeating interviews and segments, that's not what you're supposed to do, but you can help bury the business with lazy radio. I think fans need to look at the positives and have the common sense about the injuries. When was the last time you've seen two Dolphin wide receivers crushing the 100-yard mark in multiple games? McDaniel's a hell of a coach. He's done a great job offensively. He's going to have to probably get a new special teams coach at this pace. But, I mean, he inherited those guys. He can tweak everything along the way, so that's fine. Frankie says, Tua has better pocket awareness than both Teddy and Skyler. He'll make the line look better as long as he doesn't hold on to the ball for 5 seconds. And we will ask him about that on Wednesday. Big O, watch all these fanatical fans switch all the way. We are winning to the Super Bowl once the team starts winning, from one extreme to another. What are you going to do? Amen to that. Amen to that. Drago says, when Joe leaves, I'll stop listening to QM. Won't even listen to the Dolphins games on the radio. Can't take yeah, I got you. Plenty of blame to go around for yesterday's loss. Finns had a number of chances. How will they overcome the O-line and defensive back injuries? Hearing the bitching in the 400 section yesterday. Well, I mean, listen, the Dolphins have been handed a terrible, deck here so far this season. They have every bad break that can possibly happen to them. I mean, yesterday, that was a safety. That shit was a safety yesterday at the beginning of the game. That guy was in the grasp and falling. So you're going to give Teddy Bridgewater a safety, which I had no problem with the safety they gave Teddy Bridgewater. But, dude, be consistent. And that's been our problem as Dolphin fans. We're asking for freaking consistency, and you don't give it to us. So, meanwhile, Miami loses their starting quarterback for 2 weeks, basically, for a spotter that was wrong because Teddy Bridgewater never suffered any kind of concussion. And that's our problem with all of this. There is a lack of consistency in the NFL. And then, fans feel like the NFL has it out for them. And is it because of Stephen Ross, which, by the way, Stephen Ross now is freed from his suspension. So Stephen Ross gets off suspension the week the Dolphins play Flo. Is that like some kind of cruel joke by the NFL? Couldn't the Dolphins just suspend the old geezer for his life? Like, I don't ever want to see Stephen Ross ever again around the team. I don't care about his damn checkbook anymore. You're a detriment to the team, dude. So this week we get, the bozo back, and now we got to go and take on the other bozo when he comes to the stadium. I hope Tua completes passes against the linebackers for like 200 yards. Ohio John, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, feel like we're getting closer to seeing Wilkins and Davis become a force in the trenches. Seiler's an unheralded dog as well. Yeah, I'm with you. And let me tell you something, Ohio John. If you can get the freaking ends, remember we talked about this in the pregame, that, the ends have got to wake up, and you started to get some of that yesterday, finally. If Agba and Phillips come to play, and they put Phillips' hand on the ground more this week than they ever did, which, stop dropping him back in coverage. Let him chase the quarterback the entire time, please. So get those guys getting after the quarterback, and then I think things now change. And if the middle of that pocket can become a terror by Wilkins, by Raekwon, by Sealer, then now we're talking. And that's how you're going to help your secondary for that guy that was asking for the 400 section and the panic wussies out there. And listen, they're trying their best, man. But it's not their fault that Byron Jones has taken a while to heal up. It's not their fault that X now has developed 2 growing injuries. It's not their fault that Nick Needham blows out his Achilles, that True William blows out his knee, and Kader Kohu, yesterday had to be inactive. Hell, Keon Crossan also got banged up yesterday. I mean, dude, what do you want them to do? Oh, I'm sorry. And they signed that Marquise kid also that lasted like a couple days. And I don't even know if you could have even counted on that kid that got injured. But Trill Williams looks like he was turning the corner, right? Nick Needham's played really well. Cater Coes looks like a fine. He was inactive. Byron Jones can't get healthy, and X isn't healthy and playing. I don't know what more you want from the Dolphins. They have all kinds of effective players on defense, defensive back, but how many do you want them to pick up? 10 of them? I'm giving you 4 or 5 guys that you could easily count on. Crossan being like the 6th guy. And by the way, here comes Noah Igbenogany, who actually had some nice moments yesterday. Number 7. You know, it just becomes, it's ridiculous. So let's not complain. Let's just be frustrated with the injuries, but let's not blame the front office or the coaching staff. My Lord, they're doing the best they can with what's going on. They played their asses off yesterday. Whoever was back there. And the guy that made the bigger mistakes was actually your best player in the secondary, and that's because X is probably playing at 70%. Give him a break, man. Give him a break. This team is healthy. They're undefeated. Do you understand that? This team is healthy, and they're undefeated. The only reason they have the 3 losses, and yesterday we could argue that even with the injuries and everything, they probably could have won if they didn't make so many stupid mistakes. One, you got ripped off from 2 points. 2 drives, at least for Skyler, should have ended up in field goals. The kicker missed a field goal. All right, so that's 11 points right there. And then all the other mistakes that, who knows, might have led to other points too. You never know. Oh, that's right. Waddle. That would have led to more points too. I get it. It's frustrating. But, man, they busted. I was proud of the team yesterday. I got to tell you. I was proud of them. They're short on some talent and they need some help. And I get it that they screwed up yesterday. But, God, they played their asses off yesterday, man. They just did. So we shall see. But I'm with you, Ohio, John. I'm with you there. Thank you as always for the super chat. If you want to get in on the Wilton Rayon text line, that's 855-912-1056. Remember, you can send in your fantasy football questions also on the Wilton Rayon text line. Andy Behrens will be joining us at the top of the hour. So if you have some injury concerns, some waiver wire pickups, anything that you think you got a question for the Broncos-Chargers game tonight, send it in on the Wilton Rayon text line at 855-912-1056. You can also post it on Twitter, and we will ask at noon. All right, let's bring him aboard. Alan Poopar is ready to go with our EJD Construction. Oh, I thought he was here. I thought I saw him pop up. Nope, not yet. So we are waiting for Alan Poopar to show up here. And then we'll get our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Did anyone see they're trying to make a story of the temperature on the Minnesota sideline was apparently 30 degrees higher than Miami sidelines? So that's their problem. I don't care about that. The question I have for you is, why would you waste your time with a silly story like that? Okay? It's their problem that it was hot. It's called home field advantage. You don't like it? Too bad. I don't care. I'm not here to feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? Whatever. It fills space, I guess, right? All right, let's do it. We are ready for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. There he is. I think. Or we got a black bear in a dark room. Oh, there we go. There we go. What, are you driving or something?
I am driving or something.
Okay. Are you heading to camp?
Long story that I'm not going to bore anybody with.
Okay. All right. So your general thoughts on the performance yesterday?
Pretty amazing that they had a shot to win in the fourth quarter with all of the stupid-ass penalties, some pretty garbage pass protection, and yet I'm looking at Bridgewater driving him down the field after he gets the 4th and 5 completion to Tyreek Hill and thinking, holy shit, they're going to win this game. And then Waddle fumbles and it's over. So again, like I said, it's amazing that they were in a position to win with all of that. But they got to clean up that stuff. And I think if we didn't already know, the game yesterday kind of showed us that they can't afford to have Armstead out of the lineup because that O-line was not good, and that's being very, very polite.
And they still had enough time to pass. You know what I'm saying? They still passed for nearly 400 yards. So they were bad, but they still had enough time to make some plays at least, which, again, is just a miracle of God that you're playing with those tackles and you're still in this game. I thought both coaches, both McDaniel and Boyer, I can't say for the special teams coach, but I thought the other two coaches, I thought they did a marvelous job, man. It's just, the players screwed up a little too much, unfortunately. I'm not going to blame Josh Boyer because X is like 70% and he gives up some big plays. I can't blame McDaniel for Alec Ingold or Connor Williams or some of these dumb penalties. You know what I mean? I thought the two main coaches, they coached their asses off, dude.
No, I don't disagree with you. And I've said from the start, I absolutely adore McDaniel's play designs, and he's making use of the two cheat codes he has on the outside with Hill and Waddle, which is how you get 400 yards passing because you got those two speed demons out there. 2 quick points I want to make. The one thing on X and the long pass he gave up, watch the replay. It's like a borderline pick that allows Jefferson to get open to the sideline, and then he turns up, and X is playing catch-up from the whole way.
Right.
That to me had nothing to do with him being hurt. That's kind of like a borderline pass interference call that they didn't make. McDaniel, having said how much I love his play designs, at the time he did it, I was like, what are you doing? Trying to get a field goal at the end of the first half with 28 seconds left from your 11-yard line when your O-line can't pass protect. I mean, I think that's pie in the sky stuff. That's like, I can get a couple of big plays here and get a field goal, where the odds were just as big for him to get a strip sack or a pick. And as it turned out, it was a pick that was Waddle's fault because he couldn't handle the ball.
Right. Yeah. Waddle made 2 brutal mistakes. And the weird part is Waddle's awesome, but if you look at the season and you look at games, there are a couple brain farts throughout the games. There are moments where he doesn't do something and you're like, but he's so awesome and he puts up such great stats. It's hard to nitpick at a couple things that have happened throughout the season with him at times that you kind of feel like, okay, because you look at Tyreek and he rarely makes any mistakes. And it shows you how with two guys that are getting so much, like a point guard in basketball, they're like the best, the top guys with turnovers in basketball are usually your best point guards. And why? Because they have the ball in their hands all the damn time. So the numbers say you're going to make some mistakes. And Waddle will make a couple mistakes here or there. It's amazing how Tyreek rarely makes any mistakes with as many times he gets the ball.
Yeah, well, he had a drop on the Hale I'm talking about on the third down wide receiver screen on 3rd and 20, which wouldn't have gotten anything anyway. But if we're going to be honest about it with Waddle, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the kid because he's having a great year and all that, but he drops passes. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a trade-off. I'll take his speed and live with the occasional drop pass. Unfortunately, the one yesterday wound up in the hands of Harrison Smith.
Yeah. He had two brutal plays yesterday, and a couple weeks ago when he had a big game, he didn't come back for a ball, and it was just one of those where he just waited for the ball instead. So there are a couple of brain farts that go with it, but overall, I mean, he is so phenomenal that it's really hard, to pick on him. But listen, yesterday, it's like what you said. It's hard to get. You can't even pick on the team because the effort was amazing. Right? I mean, that's the one thing that you have to say about that team yesterday. It's frustrations because of all the mistakes, but it certainly wasn't from a lack of effort on any way, shape, or form.
No, and I don't think that's ever been in question. And if we're going to be honest about it again, the 3 losses, they had a chance to take the lead in the fourth quarter in every single one of them. And it's a play that went awry with the pick against Cincinnati, the missed field goal against the Jets, and the waddle fumble yesterday. So they're not that far from being 6-0. Are they a 6-0 team? No, probably not. But again, they're arriving at what should be a really soft stretch in their schedule the next 5 games. What they have to get is the injuries under control a little bit. It helps that X looked fine to me yesterday. But Armstead's a major concern. I mean, how long are we going to be dealing with this? It'll be great to get Tua back in the lineup against the Steelers. Losing Needham hurts. And on top of that, you had Keon Crossan, who also went out of cornerback. Not that he's a frontline player, but you're chipping away the depth in the secondary more and more.
Chipping away, or it's completely stripped at this point. By the way, we are getting.
You got Howard. Noah did a decent job yesterday.
Getting Iggy with it, yeah, baby. We're getting Iggy with it, yeah.
Getting Iggy with it, I like that.
That's right, man. We're gonna get Iggy with it. That's good. Let me ask you something. Yeah. Does Liam Eichenberg have naked pictures of somebody?
Oh, yeah, I'm losing my patience with him.
No, but you tell me how bad, because I want Michael Dieter to get the shot, but then how bad is Michael Dieter and Robert Jones behind the scenes that they don't get a shot? Because let me tell you something. The other guys are fine, and I get what you're going to get at tackle right now with the backup guys, but the real weakness, once you get back Austin Jackson and you get back Tehran, the weakness is Eichenberg, bro. That guy makes mistakes all the effing time. And I'm going to go with what most of my scouts said, that he's a right tackle. He's not a guard. They don't feel he has the Mahler's attitude to be a guard. They think he's more of a right tackle instead. And I guess in this team, he'll end up being a backup right tackle because Austin Jackson is going to end up starting. But what I want to know is what the hell is going on with Dieter and Jones that they can't get a shot over a guy that clearly is a negative on the team right now.
No, it's impossible to defend. I think you and I both know that, right or wrong, the fact that the Dolphins gave up a 3rd-round pick to move up to get Liam Eichenberg in the 2021 draft, that plays a role in it, and that's going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I would hope they're getting close to the point where they're like, I don't care about that. We need to get better play out of that position. And
but I mean, you did it with Cater, bro. You did it with Cater. You did it with Trill Williams. All these guys were passing up Noah. So what the F, bro? And Noah's your 1st-round pick. It is what it is, dude. But you gotta do what's best for the team right now and protect your quarterback gets knocked out in every game. Please put the best guy out there. Give those other guys at least a chance. They cannot be any worse than Liam Eichenberg. That's the part.
No, and you know what troubles me the most about Liam Eichenberg, because you mentioned he's a mauler. Well, this style of offense doesn't require maulers. What troubles me the most is every week I see him late picking up a twist up front. And that happened again yesterday, where the guy's coming into him and he's too slow to react, and then switching off his guy and picking up the twist, and it winds up with a free rusher in the quarterback's face. And I think at some point, dude, you got to get that right,
No, I know. I'm with you. It's just I don't find the logic, because everywhere else, Chase, you're not playing, Gaskin, you're in. I could just talk about all these situations all over the place. They do move on to the next guy. And this week, I don't care what anybody tells me, dude. An 8-year veteran at quarterback, if he's limited on Thursday and Friday and Saturday he's clear, he's starting over the 7th round pick. The fact that they started this kid, that already tells you what they're feeling about this kid against Teddy already as it is. So they're willing.
No.
No, you think you really believe the whole workout? Okay.
I really believe they wanted the quarterback who took all the first team reps because of the game plan. And I'm not the only one saying that. Jeff Darlington reported that on Sunday morning. So, yeah, no, I absolutely do believe that. And truth be told, I like Skylar.
They can tell you that. That doesn't mean that I'm going to believe what they tell you. That doesn't believe that.
No, of course.
Bullshit, okay? Because
of course, but I don't.
I'm going to go by what you did, and I'm going to go by what your track record says. Your track record says you do replace them, but only in the Eichenberg situation you have not. And why? Why?
Dude, no, I'm not arguing that point. I was actually shaking.
Connor on the field, even though he's not coming through, but clearly they're forcing that situation.
Well, by the way, since you brought up Connor Williams, of all the penalties, the one that really, really pissed me off yesterday, that ineligible downfield to nullify the pass to the 9-yard line. Dude, where the hell are you going? It's not even anywhere near either the quarterback or where the pass is going. What the hell is he doing down there?
And outside of the quarterback, he's the other guy that's got to know, awareness,
correct,
play call, what his response, not just his responsibility, but everybody else's responsibilities, because that's kind of what those two guys are supposed to do, the quarterback and the center. So no, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I mean, the center is like a catcher. He's got to be the smartest guy on the effing field, or diamond, in other words, and so no, I'm with you. That was a really frustrating. So was Ingold also. That was also kind of frustrating too, but I'm with you. The Connor one, and he's played great. Okay. That's the other thing. It's hard to pick on Connor when you're mauling people on a consistent basis in front of you. I will say that. So
no, he's been solid. I have no issue with him. That one yesterday pissed me off.
Yeah, no. It should have pissed you off. There's no doubt in my mind. All right. So and you're still not going on the no drop off from Tua to Teddy, right? You're gonna
They go. Clearly, the Dolphins are at their best with Tua at quarterback. I don't think there's any question about that. I also still would like to see Teddy get a shot with a full week as getting reps with the first team, which he hasn't had. And then yesterday you saw him; he was really slow going. Yeah. Say what?
But dude, you could tell he's not Tua, bro. He's not.
Dude, I'm sorry, but he was perfectly fine in the fourth quarter. Other than the pick, which was kind of in desperation mode by that time, they were down by 14. Other than that, when he was driving down the field, he was making a lot of nice passes. He was making that deep slant over the middle to Gesicki, exactly the same way Tua does. And again, I'm going to say again, yes, Tua is the best quarterback on the roster. Nobody is questioning that.
So there is a drop off, because you were saying there is no.
I don't think it's nearly as dramatic as you think it is, though.
Okay, but at least now you're changing your mind now. Now you've adjusted from no drop-off to at least acknowledging there is a drop-off. Whatever.
I said the results would be similar. Big O, I said the results would be similar. Okay, I said the result would be similar with a full week of practice. And had Skylar been able to stay in the game, he was making some throws. He had one throw on the run yesterday, was completely ridiculous, and it was negated by another penalty.
I know. He was great on that drive. They were gaining like 800 yards, and 400 of them were on penalties.
They lost 67 yards, dude.
Huh?
On that drive, they lost 67 yards of gains because of penalties.
4 yards than the length of the field when you add the offense and the penalties. It's like, yo, this doesn't jive. You know what I'm saying? I felt so bad for the kid. But again, for anybody that wants to question anything about McDaniel, you're an idiot, because that coaching staff, Bevel, McDaniel, everybody, Frank, everybody that's involved in preparing that quarterback, dude, they did a nice job. They've done a great job with Skylar because he looked well prepared. And obviously, he's wired. in a mentally tough way. So you got to like that about him. But he looks really well prepared for a 7th round pick every time he takes the field. I like that.
No question. No, I question absolutely practically nothing in terms of the coaching from the offensive part. The going for the field goal at the end of the first half is decision.
I got idiots on the chat board saying that McDaniel's overrated. Think about that one. Think about that.
Was he overrated when they were 3-0? I mean, Jesus.
No. What's more impressive is what you said earlier. They had a chance in the 3 games that they lost. With the talent that they have, with what's left over and everything, he has overcome. You guys wanted to test McDaniel? You just got it in the first 6 weeks. 21-point deficits. You got comebacks. You got backups playing. You got them overcoming it. They got you at the edge of your seat all the way to the 4th quarter with that talent right now. And I don't know how many people are winning with 2nd and 3rd string quarterbacks, backup tackles, backup corners, and then you're losing more and more people along the way, and you're really, really competitive. To me, you're healthy. You're easily 6-0 right now. I'm convinced of that.
Okay, I don't know if I go that far, but okay.
You don't think
they wouldn't be 3-3. They wouldn't be 3-3. Let's put it that way.
Okay, what, 5-1 in your book?
Maybe we just don't know. We just don't know.
If X is 100%, you got Byron Jones, you got Austin Jackson playing, you got Teron Armstead playing, and Tua's playing. They're 6-0, bro. They're 6-0.
We'll never know, will we? We'll never know. Maybe we'll never know.
I know we'll never know, but I am satisfied with what I've seen for the 3 games.
I am too. I am too.
Yeah.
And if their injury situation doesn't completely fall off a cliff, this is a playoff team. So
easily. And by the way, I hope this is a sign of things to come, because one of the things they needed and the secondary desperately needed was the front 7 to wake up and start pressuring the quarterback more and sacking. And yesterday was that sign that finally, hopefully, these guys, even Agba didn't get a sack, but he was there, dude, several times. And Jalen Phillips got himself half a sack. So, and obviously Wilkins was showing up big time, and Raekwon Davis and all of that. To me, that was actually one of the real positives. And I hope this is the start of something to come here from here on out, because if that front 7 can start, putting some consistent pressure on the quarterback, that'll be enormous for that hurting secondary.
Yeah, no, and they have another good opportunity Sunday night, because that Steeler offensive line is bad. And I mean, it wasn't like 3 or 4 years ago the Steelers had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Now their offensive line is bad. So there's a great opportunity there.
I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on at alldolphins.com so they can check you out, my friend?
Well, I did my weekly snap count observations earlier this morning. Gonna check out what Mike McDaniel has to say later this afternoon when he meets with the media for his regular day after the game, and then probably have another 53 to 55 stories up.
There you go. As always, he's constantly working, and he now knows there's a drop-off between Stillwater and Tua. He's now Teddy Stillwater, by the way.
Stillwater, okay.
Stillwater, yeah, Stillwater. Okay, that's the new one there for you. Follow him on Twitter at Poopart NFL, and you're only an official Miami Dolphins fan if you bookmark alldolphins.com. If you do not bookmark alldolphins.com, we cannot consider you an official Miami Dolphins fan. I just want you to know that. It's the law. As Nino Brown would say, it's the law. So there you go.
As Madeline Kahn would say, it's true.
It's true. We will catch up later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
You got to have a good one.
There you go. Alan Poopar and our EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report. All right. Did you know what Pitt's front 4 is going to do to our O-line? Flo is going to bring it. Have you watched Pittsburgh? What are they bringing, dude? What are they bringing? What are you watching? I must have missed it. This is not the big bad Steelers. Aren't they like 2-4 or something like that? Right? Let's see what's the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? Let's see. I'm wondering, like, this guy is making it sound like the Pittsburgh Steelers are badasses or something like that. They're a scrub team at this point, dude. And it's not like they've got like a crap ton of injuries either. They're just not very good. They're 2-4, and they beat the Bucs yesterday, 20-18. 2-4, dude. Mitch Trubisky is going to be your starter because Pickett ended up getting injured yesterday. He suffered a concussion, I believe. They had 2 sacks yesterday. You know, that vaunted Steelers pass rush. 2 whole sacks, my friend. How about that? That vaunted Steelers team. What do you think about that, sir? It's like some of you really don't watch the NFL. You just kind of, go off of whatever. And, oh, no, the Steelers, yeah, normally they're really good. Yeah, but they're not actually right now. They're not good. I don't know if you guys know that, but they're not good. But, I mean, if you want to, convince yourselves that they are, you can go ahead and do that. 855-912-1056. RedRecover.com, baby. Proud sponsor of our program. We love talking about RedRecover.com. And we talk about pain, shoulder pain, elbow, knee, back, neck, ankles, foot. I got the foot a wrap for my wife. She's a teacher, so she's standing all freaking day on that chalkboard teaching all that crap, right? Although I don't think they use chalk anymore. But anyway, on the board. And so her feet always sore, and now Red Recover has the wraps for your feet so you can get the red light therapy. And I tell you, whether you have shoulder pain or whether you have an old injury, an old surgery, man, we've got the wrap for you. So affordable. Use our code BIGO. You will get 10% off. You can grow your hair back. I've been developing that natural yarmulke. Well, now I'm growing that hair back. So if you recently started losing your hair, red light therapy can help you grow it back. Scars from a surgery or an injury, red light therapy can help you erase those scars. How about that? Dogs. I got the wraps for my dogs now for the front shoulders and the back shoulders. We could do that for our doggies. RedRecover.com. Hayden Hurst, NFL player, tight end for the Bengals and becoming a fantasy stud. He uses RedRecover.com. And it's not only for injuries, not only for surgeries, not only for scars, not only for the hair, not only for your pets. Listen, when you talk about RedRecover.com, you're talking about something that helps you in so many different ways. And that's why the benefits are there for you in every way, shape, and form. And it's great for the kids. Why? It's all natural. There are no side effects. There's no drugs, no nothing. It's red light therapy, folks. It's a beautiful thing, and it helps in so many ways. Listen, workouts. It helps you in the workouts. So if you're going to go power walking, you're going to play tennis, you're going to play pickleball, you're going to the gym, you use the pads before and after your workouts to optimize your workouts and so you can actually recover a lot faster. Go check out the wraps, incredibly affordable. Use our code BIGO, get 10% off. Go to redrecover.com, read up on all the blogs there, check out the video blogs so you can learn more about red light therapy, which is so good for you. redrecover.com. All right. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you in a big time way. What else do we have going on? Send in your fantasy football questions at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Wilton Rayon text line, send in those fantasy football questions for Andy Behrens here at the top of the hour. Sean Stanley, by the way, driving the program like he does every day, mastering this entire platform and getting it done. Always appreciate him. Remember, you can send in a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. BBYCP321 says, I'm sorry, Poopar, but being undefeated with Tua and never winning a game without him is kind of the definition of drastic. That is true. That is very true. But that's all right. That's all right. We will convert Poopart. I promise you, we will convert Poopart. It's all right. He'll give in eventually. See, he already started. He said there was no drop-off. Now he's talking about there's a difference, He wasn't a believer in Tua, that he could be a franchise. Eventually, we'll get him all over. We'll get him all over, okay? But remember now, once we even convince them, they're not allowed on the bandwagon. Okay? Poopart, Joe Shad, Omar Kelly, these guys, and by the way, Omar Kelly returns tomorrow at 10:30. None of these guys are allowed on the Tua bandwagon. Cameron Wolf and Marcel Louis-Jacques, we're going to allow those guys in the bandwagon because they weren't negative Nellies. Oh, I don't see a franchise. This guy's too short, noodle arm, whatever. There were no negativity out of those guys. Okay, so we can allow those guys on the bandwagon. All right, we're keeping track of what's going on. Certain people, no bandwagon. Adam Beasley, no, seriously, no bandwagon for him. None whatsoever. That dude's more lost than being in a jungle thrown somewhere in the middle of Brazil and trying to find your way out. That guy couldn't find his way out with any kind of compass, put it that way. Okay? He's as blind as Ray Charles writing about football. So, but it's all good. It's all good. We don't worry about it. We know. I told you at the beginning of the year. I know who they are. And I'm going to have fun crushing them. It's all good. I've done this before, okay? Had my fun with Ryan Tannehill and company, Now they've learned. We're in the middle of bringing down the Lamar Jackson people now. They keep talking a lot of crap and still don't really look at it as a quarterback. But, hey, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Omar, back on my birthday, says Christian. Perfect gift. There you go. 10:30 Tuesdays. He's only on once a week. He's not on the beat, so we're not going to do it twice a week. Once a week, we'll get him on Tuesdays. All right. Greg Little looked awful. Yes, Keith, he doesn't look. He is awful. Terrible. Big O, can we start a celebration petition for no Mo celebrations for Gesicki? Well, listen, I don't know about that dance, but apparently he did it better this time, how it's supposed to be, than the last time. I don't know. What can I tell you? Let's see. No doubt we need Tua now, but excited to see what Skyler could develop with over time. Tua will still prove the doubters wrong. Yeah. They'll win this week with Tua back. Well, we'll ask Andy Behrens if he thinks with Tua back on Sunday night, how much more? I mean, Hill and Waddle still they still post numbers no matter who's quarterbacking pretty much. But the man will be back on Sunday night. So we'll definitely talk to Andy Behrens about that. All right, you've got your fantasy football questions. Line them up. Andy Behrens is going to join us now from Yahoo Sports. Remember, we do fantasy football Mondays and Fridays at noon. Mondays with Andy Behrens, Fridays with Scott Pianowski from Yahoo Sports, the same guys. These have been our bookend tackles on our program for many years. I love these guys, always count on these guys. You guys have counted on them. They've given you great advice over the years, and we continue to rock. And remember, we're doing it completely different than in the past. I always love doing my 2 segments a week, but now we've taken it to another level. You will have Andy and Scott year-round. So for you Keeper and Dynasty League folks out there, as we move into free agency next year and then things change, Andy and Scott will keep us updated. As the draft goes on, they're going to be on during the draft. We're going to bring them on to break down towards the end of the draft. Our every day when we finish our draft broadcast, they will come on with us and kind of break down and give us an angle on what they see. And then we move on into mini camps. and any of the changes, injuries, trades, those kind of things, Andy and Scott will keep you updated for you keeper and dynasty guys. Then we start training camp in the preseason, and then things start develop there. People start taking spots. Andy and Scott will keep you updated there and get you ready for your draft. So we're doing it completely. We're taking it to another level. Okay. We've always been hardcore with fantasy here twice a week. I like doing it that way, but I also wanted to go all the way year round. And that's what we're trying to do here on the program. So line up the fantasy questions right now, right here on the YouTube chat board, on the Wilton Rayon text line at 855-912-1056. You can send them in on Twitter at Big O Show. Many different ways to reach out and send those fantasy football questions. And, of course, follow him on Twitter at Andy Behrens. Andy Behrens, Sports Grill, Fantasy Football Zone, next.
Wilton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Wilton Rayon, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Wilton Rayon can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Wilton Rayon can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill, Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Andy Behrens.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that probably started Teddy Bridgewater and won a game somewhere. No.
Big O, I'm one of the few people out there who actually had to start Skylar Thompson in a couple leagues. One was a super flex, one was a 20-team league. Didn't go well for me. I don't even. He was
looking good, dude. He looked good.
Yeah.
He was
a total hero of the preseason. I don't need to tell you guys that. 5 touchdowns, 450 passing yards. It was kind of fun after a totally nondescript collegiate career too.
Right.
But I'm so ready to get Tua back. Obviously, I have Tua on those teams, and I've just been chasing Dolphins backups ever since. So for fantasy purposes, I need Tua back. Surely for real life purposes, you guys are looking for Tua to return. By the way, I want to mention, I heard you introduce me as a bookend tackle. I just want to say I'm like 6'3", 175. You do not want me protecting your blind side.
Well, maybe you're that guy that played for the Giants years ago, a couple of years back, that he was from a smaller school. What was the name of that tackle? It was kind of light and he came from like Connecticut or something like that.
Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
I've got the reach. I've got the wingspan that you're looking for, but I simply don't have the base.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll you know what? I'll have somebody chip over. I'll have Sean chip over on your side.
I need somebody better than Gesicki chip it on my side.
Yeah, a little chip blocking there. Sean will be fine with that. He'll handle the fullback duties. And he'll take over there. And by the way, if you're starting Dolphin quarterbacks, Lord, come on, guys. Don't you know by now you got to be in a 2-quarterback league because they get their quarterback knocked out every week. So you got to start both quarterbacks so you're sure that you're going to have a starter with the Dolphins. So you're supposed to start Skylar and Teddy.
Seriously, the Dolphins are making a case for team quarterbacks in fantasy. I'll tell you that.
Yes, exactly. You're right about that. And I mean, Teddy still threw for 300 yards. It just shows you that Mike McDaniel is one hell of a coach. Like he is. I mean, even Skyler, a 7th-round pick who, like you just said, didn't really have this incredible career at K-State, but yet he looks so, like comfortable. He looked the moment didn't look too big for the kid. And
I agree with that. Skyler had
prepared
12 touchdown passes as a 5th-year senior. Like that's what he was in college. Like this is not somebody that normally lands, the guys like that don't normally even get shots in the NFL. So impressive that they found him. Even more impressive that they turned him into a little something.
Yeah. Again, send in your fantasy questions right now. Wilton Rayon text line 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayon text line. And let's see what we got here. Who do I pick up next week with Allen out? Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Mariota, or Zach Milson? I like that, Milson. And there's no way you would start Zach. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
There is absolutely no way you would start Zach. That is a good call. I gotta say, like, just from the top, and I've already written the most of the pickups column for this week. This is one of the most brutal waiver wire weeks that I can remember. Like the guys I'm recommending, I'm not even fully sold on. It's just, I understand there's buys coming up. This is a brutal bye week, by the way. You've got the Bills out, you've got the Eagles out, got all that, or the Rams are out. Like all these guys that we've been leaning on are not playing in this coming week. And then it's just a brutal week in terms of pickups. Mariota is probably where I would lean, and you're not expecting some gigantic week out of Marcus Mariota. Only threw the ball 14 times on Sunday, but he did complete 13 of those throws. And I will tell you, the thing that is exciting about Mariota this year is that on Sunday, it was his 3rd game this year with at least 50 rushing yards. It was his 3rd rushing touchdown on the year. So remember, he kind of came into the league and we were like, oh, this is a really exciting dual threat player. And then he just didn't run enough. Well, he's running now. Like they're keeping the ball on the ground and he's a big part of it. So that's been exciting. And then here's the string of games that Mariota has coming up. It's Cincinnati and, of course, the Saints. Basically, the junior varsity Saints just put up like 26 points on Cincinnati, right? So that defense is vulnerable. And then it's Carolina, and then the Chargers, and then Carolina again, and then Chicago, and then Washington. Like, it's just a layup line of opponents for Atlanta. So this is a really nice stretch of games. And I think Mariota is somebody that you can think of as a streaming option more often than not.
Yeah. Although Washington's got a pretty good defense. That one, they didn't play well this week.
It's a little up and down. It's not exactly been the defense that we would have necessarily expected. There were obviously more plays to be made there for the Bears last week in another dreadful Thursday night game than we would normally expect.
Oh my God. And speaking of tonight, Mike Boone, what do you think about the Boonster tonight?
I think we've really got something to learn tonight, because it should go without saying that the Broncos are going to run some sort of backfield committee. They were doing it when they had Javonte Williams, so they're surely going to do it when they don't have Javonte. I think Boone is the most likely guy to see something like 50% of the touches along with Melvin Gordon. And of course, at this point, Melvin Gordon is like one more fumble away from maybe being excused from that committee altogether, and they can just run it with Latavius Murray and with Mike Boone. But I think Boone looked really good. But I mean, what is good in the context of that last game that the Broncos played against Indy, right? Like that was such a dreadful game. But Mike Boone showed some real life, and it was running the ball at least as well as Melvin Gordon, who I think was pretty clearly focused on just wrapping up with two hands. Which understandable because he puts the ball on the ground every game. So I think Mike Boone has a real opportunity here, and is somebody who should be rostered. Like I think he's rostered right now in like 40% of Yahoo leagues. That should be more just as a speculative pickup because he has a real chance to take over the lion's share of touches in that backfield.
All right. I'm losing Marquise Brown and Diggs here on the Wilton Rayon text line, by the way, 855-912-1056. Gonna need two wide receivers. Anybody on the waiver wire that Andy likes? Rondale, Pierce, Ayuk, McKenzie are top available. Any sleepers? Thanks.
McKenzie is coming off a notably poor game. And if this is Isaiah McKenzie, if you have a Diggs problem, you have a McKenzie problem because he is also on bye this coming week. So he can't help you. Alec Pierce now, this is 4 weeks in a row that he's been good. And I know that it means tying yourself to Matt Ryan and the Colts offense, and that, you know, you shouldn't go out of your way to tie yourself to the Colts offense. But this is 4 solid games in a row. The other thing that we need to say about Alec Pierce, and I'm not even sure like the world recognizes it. This guy's an elite athlete by NFL standards. This is somebody who came into the league with a 40-inch vertical. He's 6'3", he's got 4.4 speed. He's got great speed for his size. And it is showing up. Like for a while there, it was just like every week there would be a deep shot to Alec Pierce that would connect. But then, you know, just a couple weeks ago, Matt Ryan peppered him with targets, and he was a preferred option next to Michael Pittman. So Pierce is really a thing. And people have been really slow to add him. I guess I understand it. It's the Colts. Matt Ryan looks like trash. But Pierce is legit. So I think Pierce needs to be rostered now in 12-team leagues. So he's probably my favorite here. The problem for Rondale Moore, of course, is that DeAndre Hopkins is about to come back, and he's gonna siphon off some targets. Moore, I will say, in the last, in this last game, and I haven't looked at every snap of it yet, but it certainly appears that he's less of the fake wide receiver that he's been, because like Rondale Moore has basically been a guy who's targeted at the line of scrimmage and never downfield, but it does seem like he's putting up some pretty significant yardage totals. So I can understand it with Rondale Moore, but Alec Pierce is the one that I'm actually legitimately excited about.
All right, and kind of a second question that came in on the Wilton Rayon text line, but it's kind of the same. So give me one more waiver wire receiver, because he says, I need a wide receiver this week. I have Cooper Kupp on a bye. What are some options in the wire? You talked about some on his list.
Yeah, the other guy I would throw
the
other guy I want to throw out there is Josh Reynolds of the Detroit Lions, who, whatever your high end projection might have been for DJ Chark coming into this season, Reynolds has become that guy. He's seen 28 targets over his last 3 games. I think he's really established himself as this can all change whenever Jameson Williams comes back at whatever percentage Jameson Williams comes back, right? But for now, Josh Reynolds is somebody who is seeing red zone targets. He's actually seen 6 targets inside the 10-yard line so far this year. We like that. Those are high yield, high opportunity targets. He's clearly a favorite of Jared Goff. I don't think he's going to leave the game plan, because Goff is currently just really locked in on him. So Reynolds is pretty interesting. Also somebody that I think actually the more active and involved the league is, the greater the likelihood that Chase Claypool is available on waivers, because he's really had some quite an up and down career, really, but certainly season as well. He's coming off a very nice game. It's going to end up being a top 10 fantasy week at the position. He's a total roller coaster ride tied to a sketchy quarterback situation. So this isn't like a full throated recommendation by any means, but Chase Claypool is somebody who, when he pops, it's a decent game.
On the Wilton Rayon text line, 855-912-1056, about to go 5-1 and 3-3 in 2 other leagues. I have Hurts as my QB, good at running back and wide receiver. What is Hurts worth on the trading block? What would you consider it in a 12-man PPR league?
Jeez, I don't think I'd want to do it. Hurts is one of the right answers in fantasy football this year, right? Like I don't know. This is a big chip to give up. And I think if we redrafted from scratch right now, like there's a big gap between the top quarterbacks and like those second, third tier guys. I would expect a second or third round value for Jalen Hurts, whatever that means to you. I mean, you also sound like you're okay at running back and wide receiver.
Obviously.
So I don't think I would feel pressed to deal Jalen Hurts right now. He's playing incredibly well. Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are perfectly healthy, and you can get 50-60 rushing yards out of Jalen Hurts with a rushing score pretty much every week. He's one of the right answers, and you got it. Like, you don't need to trade out of it. There's nothing fluky about this performance either. So I don't see any kind of imperative to deal him. But if you did, I'd make sure that I got somebody who would go like as a second round pick right now.
I just got offered on the Wilton Rayon text line, 855-912-1056. Melvin Gordon for Juju. Is Juju a reliable option after this past week?
It was really encouraging to see him perform at this level this past week. And obviously, he's going to have a whole bunch of games that are like 5 catches, 55 yards, because he did enter this week with an average depth of target of like 6 yards. That's not great. We like to see guys target downfield. But he's tied to Patrick Mahomes. He's capable of like this, especially when he gets like zone coverage. He's a sort of classic zone beater receiver. I wouldn't go out of my way to, like, if the return is just Melvin Gordon, I'm going to be a no. Because again, I think Melvin is one more fumble away from just losing all rushing responsibilities for Denver. So there's no, like, Juju's going to remain involved in the Chiefs offense all season. So this to me is not selling high. That's the value that you could have gotten a week ago on Juju. And I think if you really want to sell this game, you should aim higher than Melvin.
All right. Should I pick up Kyron Williams if I have to drop Curtis Samuel to do it?
I certainly understand the temptation to cut Curtis Samuel right now. There is not. I mean, I think Curtis Samuel's a really good player. He dropped a long touchdown in that Thursday night game. There's just no way around it. It hit him in both hands, right? Like, if you're in the NFL and a ball hits you in both hands and you're a receiver, we expect you to catch it. So he had a couple of drops in that one. It was just a really, really ugly effort from him. So I understand why you're thinking drop Curtis Samuel. I also understand the speculation on Kyron Williams. He was a good back at Notre Dame. He's been on IR to open the season, but now we have no Cam Akers for Los Angeles. But I don't think Williams is any sort of threat. He just really has sort of contingent value if something were to happen to Darrell Henderson. And that's not enough for me. Curtis Samuel has actually led Washington in targets, I think, in every game this season, which is pretty wild. So I would hold on to Curtis Samuel in this situation. That's not to say that Curtis Samuel is not droppable. I just don't think he's droppable for somebody who needs like 3 different things to happen in order to have fantasy value.
Jason Myers on the chat board says, if you're running back needy, would you target Zeke with the workload and upcoming schedule?
Yeah, I'm not one of these people who's super down on Zeke. He's healthy. He's not. This isn't like the rook. First of all, this is a great question. This isn't like the rookie year version of Zeke, and this is not rushing title Zeke, but he's a good player. Like, I don't know how you could watch last night's game and not say, yeah, that guy's pretty effective between the tackles still. Like, he had a bunch of runs in that game last night that, I don't know, Joe Mixon isn't breaking them for 4 yards right now. Like, Zeke was pretty good. I think he's been pretty good all year. It's just that people get into this either or situation with Tony Pollard and they're like, oh gosh, we got to get Tony Pollard 25 touches a game. I don't know. The running game is not really a huge problem for Dallas right now. So this is a very long way of saying, yes, I think Zeke is sort of a modest target right now. He is coming off probably his best fantasy game of the season. He found the end zone. He looked pretty good. But I think that's a decent target that is achievable, right? Like, this isn't like targeting Derrick Henry. This isn't like targeting Christian McCaffrey, where it has to be some splash offer and you've got to really just sort of upend your team in order to do it. Zeke is a reasonable player to try to acquire. I think that's a smart move.
Joe Spencer, man, I feel bad for him. He says about to be 0-6 in a 10-team, 8-keeper, half-point PPR super flex. What draft pick for next year would you value Joe Mixon and Keenan Allen at? So this is a man that unfortunately is giving up on this season, moving on to next year. What would be your suggestion in value for these two guys?
First of all, smart move to do this. No, you don't come back from 0-6. Like, it's just it. I know everybody's got a story. I literally, in playing fantasy football for over 25 years, I had one team that started 0-5 and came back to win a championship. And the reason that it sticks in my mind is that it just never happened. So 0-6 is kind of, fortunately it's a dynasty. Yeah, fortunately it's a dynasty league and you can still like be active and make trades and stuff like that. Right. Joe Mixon has been one of the most disappointing players in fantasy who has not been hurt. He entered week 6 averaging just 3.7 yards per touch. Can't get anything going on the ground. The offensive line hasn't been good, but now you have a game that you can really sort of take to the trade market. You also have a story to tell because he's getting a zillion touches, right? Touches have not been the problem for Joe Mixon. So this is really good. I think you can, I don't know if Joe Mixon will get you a first round pick, but I would ask for it. Because again, the volume here is phenomenal, and certainly if you're tossing Keenan Allen into the deal, that should be enough. Now, I think you probably hold Keenan back until he's actually ready to play. Sounds like that's not going to be this week. Hopefully it can be very soon. So I think I would keep that one in my holster until Keenan was actually ready to return.
Depends on when his deadline is too. When his training deadline is.
Yeah,
also.
but it's probably not until like middle of November. I wouldn't think that it's coming up that soon. So I would hold Keenan back and try to get more for him, because Keenan was going to have a monster week 1. They were feeding him in week 1 before the hamstring injury. So I think when he comes back, he probably comes back with like a 10 catch performance. And then you can really get something like, maybe it's a second, maybe it's an exciting young running back. I don't know. Maybe it's a Rashad White type, somebody like that, who is going to have a lot of value next season. I'd be really interested in something like that.
All right. Should we pick up Cam Akers? He got dropped in our league, they're asking.
I totally get why he was dropped, because he's going into his bye and he's basically been booted from the team, right? Like, this is a weird situation, because Cam Akers having philosophical differences with Sean McVay when Cam Akers has not played well, since returning from the injury. I don't know. Really funny situation to me. Like, he was lucky that they continued to feed him, I think. Yeah, you can. This is such a bad week for pickups. Like, literally the pickups that I'm touting this week are guys like Marcus Mariota and Kenyon Drake and Josh Reynolds. And it's just not a great week for pickups. So sure, if you want to make like a sneaky offer on Cam Akers, just as a what if, I don't know. What if they exchange Cam Akers for Christian McCaffrey and other pieces in there, right? Like, sure, Cam Akers would have some value in Carolina as a full. It's possible that Cam Akers lands in a situation where he gets something close to a full workload. That wouldn't be unthinkable. So sure, depends on the drop. Obviously, I wouldn't drop anyone of importance.
All right. I see what we got here. Okay. Chase Claypool had a good game yesterday. Do I start him next week? You just talked about the up and down.
Yeah,
stuff.
he's just a carnival ride of a player, right? And his worst moments.
You like the matchup this week? And by the way, he's also asking Robert Tonyan, do I finally start him? He had a big game yesterday.
Yeah, I think you've hit on a couple of things here. Tight end is like the one position that actually did produce some interesting numbers in terms of potential fantasy pickups, and Tonyan is one of those guys, especially with Randall Cobb down too, and it looks like he's going to be out for some period of time. There's just very few receiving options left, and Rodgers at least has confidence and rapport existing with Tonyan. So I think Tunyan's a very interesting play. Claypool obviously gets it's Miami next week, right? I believe that
yes.
The Steelers and Dolphins are facing off. I mean, he's just a carnival ride of a player. You could easily get a 0 from Chase Claypool, but he's also one of the most talented athletes in the NFL, and sometimes it shows up. So he's not a must start by any means. I think Pittsburgh probably for the rest of the season, it's just going to be one receiver a game who is productive. This is not the Dolphins offense, right? We don't even know who's going to quarterback that team next week. So I wouldn't go out of my way to add Claypool. He's fine as an ad if you need a bye week filler. I really do like Tonyan though. Tonyan is somebody who I can easily imagine him settling in as a top 8 fantasy tight end rest of season.
Is Hayden Hurst a better option than Freiermuth or Hawkinson on moving forward?
Certainly not than Hawkinson. No, I would want Hawkinson moving forward. That Detroit offense is fun. They've already come through their bye, and that sort of thing has a lot of value right now, right? Like, we're going to be dealing with bye weeks up through week 14. So a good player who's already had his bye is definitely worth rostering.
Okay. In-N-Out Burgers or Five Guys?
Oh man, I have a take about burgers that people really hate. I think almost all, especially all like fast foodie burgers, I think they all belong to the same tier, and I think we make our decisions on them based on fries alone. That is my take. And I kind of like the fries at Five Guys.
Okay. Wagyu steak or New York strip?
Ooh, I'll go Wagyu there.
You're going to go Wagyu, huh?
I wouldn't say no to either, obviously.
Okay. All right. That's those are some of the questions they wanted to find out from you, I guess. And you can always ask Andy a little off the wall questions, either or. We'll have a little fun with it towards the end there.
Think of me as much of a life coach as I am a fantasy expert, please.
All right. PGA or Club Live?
Oh man, I'm out
Or
on
Live
golf. Okay,
Golf.
I am 100% out on golf. I think all golf courses should be cross country courses.
They should get rid of all of them, is what you're saying?
They should get rid of all of them. They should be like public parks or just like cross country space. Yeah. I'm very out. I'm not a golfer. I can't name a golfer. Like literally the world's most famous golfers could like be on my flights. They could be at the store with me. I would have no idea.
Okay. Somebody put filet mignon or Wagyu. I personally will go with a Chateaubriand. That to me, have you ever tasted the Chateaubriand? That is the most tender cut in the cow. Okay,
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Oh, Chateaubriand.
I like basically all parts of the cow that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Was there a secret part?
You going filet mignon or you're going Wagyu?
In this case, I have some wonderful memories of filet, so I will go filet mignon here.
There you go. All right, what are you guys working on Yahoo so folks can check you out?
I've got this miserable pickups column coming out tomorrow. I think you'll really hate it. The names are terrible. And then of course we have the Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast, our podcast every day, all week.
Ricard White and Kenyon Drake, right? That kind of stuff is what we're going to see there.
So bad. I can't believe I had to write about Kenyon Drake. I resent the NFL for making me do it.
You did write about Kenyon Drake. That's funny. Although he does have talent, and I don't know how he never sticks and he never finds consistency, but he is.
I mean, on the flip side, coaches obviously love him. Like, even when he's not efficient, coaches roll him out there for over 50% of the snaps. He's playing a ton for Baltimore, right? He's clearly running ahead of J.K. Dobbins. So he doesn't do it for me. But, when there's a hole there, he can hit it.
Okay, there you go. More Pacheco columns. Is that what we're getting also?
No, I'm not that desperate yet.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Behrens. And, of course, catch him weekly here at noon doing his thing with our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. Andy, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, Big O. Hope everybody gets what they need tonight.
You got it. There you go, Andy. Thank you. Andy Behrens. And remember, during football season, college or the NFL, at Sports Grill, all 7 great locations. They've got an 8th coming in Doral. $1.50 Bud Light drafts and bottles during the NCAA and NFL games. Tonight, there's an NFL game. You get the $1.50 Bud Light drafts or bottles. And $12 domestic pitchers, bone-in wings, 15% off. You got to try the Buffalo Tater Tots. They are delicious. And Sports Grill is known for their sauces. So now you can actually take them home. Douse that chicken, douse that steak, douse the wife, whatever you want tasting, like the buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue. Dale, they got them all there, folks. The Kendall location, guess what? Today's Monday. They've got milkshakes every Monday and rock and roll music playing all night long. It's Monday, $7 single smash burger. So smash it, baby. Get on down to the 7 great locations at Sports Grill.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. Well, now somebody says that's a Maserati that the coach is driving. So we can't get it right. BMW, Audi, Maserati. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to correct me. I have no idea what the coach drives. I thought it was a BMW. Apparently, I'm completely wrong. But again, not a car expert, so I don't know. So I can't tell you that, I know a little bit about cars, but when I was younger, I was really good at spotting any car, knowing exactly what car it was, model, who made it, year, all that kind of stuff. I was very geeky about that, but kind of lost my edge on that, you know. That's the thing. Ooh, KSDT. Yeah, baby. The KSDT race car is going to be over at Homestead. We're going to be at the KSDT on Friday. We're going to be with KSDT. We're going to be out at the Homestead Motor Speedway, and we're going to have some fun out there on Friday. Cannot wait. That's going to be fun. I haven't been out to Homestead in a couple years, so I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun time to go out there. Great atmosphere. I love going to that track. I've always enjoyed going during race week and doing the shows out there. I don't know. Maybe next year what we'll do, Sean, is we'll talk to him about maybe being out there for a couple days and we'll plan ahead. So that'll be cool. Big O, your Connor Boner graded out terrible yesterday. What's going on? I'm not worried about that, bro. See, Jeff, I'm not fair weathered like you guys. Okay. I don't go changing my mind every week or anything like that. I saw Connor screw up a couple times yesterday, but overall, he's done a really, really good job. And I think also Connor has the bad luck of having Liam next to him. And so I think he kind of has to worry about Liam too. You know what I'm saying? And then he has that left tackle that obviously it's not Teron Armstead. So I think that kind of hurts him too a little bit, having Liam next to him, and he has to worry about that. So I think that kind of hurts him. But overall, again, anybody that wants to move Connor Williams out of center, you have no idea what you're talking about. That is, he's graded out as one of the best centers throughout the entire year. So, but again, it's understandable, Jeff. Fans like you, some fans like you. You're fair weather. You don't really follow it. And you go by PFF grades all the time. It's not very good either. But it's all good. Big O, if you're down in Homestead, I live right by there. I'll check you out. Well, we will be there. I don't know if you'll have access to check us out on Friday. Is that a day that fans are there, Sean? Or, yeah, they can, right? Because of testing? But they probably be on the outside of the track. We're going to be on the inside.
We're going to be on the inside of the track more than likely. If they set us up where they normally set up,
Right.
We're going to be right by the media center.
Right, exactly. So the fans probably won't have access to us.
Not unless they got pit passes, and then it depends if the pits are open at that time when we're there.
Right.
Because they're not doing a Friday race this year. It's 2 Saturday races and the Sunday race. It's not a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So it's mostly just actually there's not even, I don't think, a practice set up. Or no, there's one practice set up for in the afternoon. So
what we need to do is pick up a Homestead like sponsor, right? Where we go down there once a month and broadcast out there in that area. I want to get another one in West Palm. That would be cool. Not that Sean would look forward to that, but yeah, something like that. If we get one in West Palm, I'll just pick you up on the way, Sean, and we'll go up together. That way we'll carpool on the way up. But we need one down south, and we need one up in West Palm Beach. We got to find a proper sponsor that can host us every month up there in Palm Beach. So that way we can, because we go to Fort Lauderdale all the time. Every week we're twice a month we're in Fort Lauderdale. So that's covered. We're always at Craig's Inn's Acura Pembroke Pines. That's twice a month. We're in Hialeah every week, right? We're in Davie once a month. We'll be in Davie tomorrow, by the way. That's right. Tomorrow, Davie. Wednesday, back in studio. Tuesday at Hialeah Park. Friday at Homestead. Saturday in Kendall. Anybody else do that kind of stuff? Nah, nobody does that kind of stuff. So if you are a sponsor that wants to, be a part of our platform and host us down in the Homestead area or up in West Palm Beach, call our business line, 786-754-4664. It's kind of what we need left, right? Kind of the south end of South Florida and the northern end of South Florida. That's what we need. We need to do some of that. That way we can connect with people at different parts of the Tri-County area throughout the week. I like it. I like it. Very important. So there you go. If your business wants to be a part of our platform, get great exposure, great branding, new customers, 786-754-4664. Reach out to us. That would be pretty cool. Big O, if Connor had a good game next week, the same fair weather fans will be asking if you think they're all pro. Exactly. No, but even when he plays well, people aren't really paying attention. They keep thinking that center's a problem, and center really isn't a problem. So, you know what I mean? What can I tell you? Liam graded out best on run plays. Liam's mauling people, dude. If you watch it, you'll see that he does a really good job overall. I'm worried more about the left guard spot more than anything else. So that's really what I would be worried about, if anything, would be the guard spot. What else do we have? Man, so you got Needham out for the year with the Achilles. Keon Crossan suffered a knee injury. Kohu had the oblique and did not play. You got X playing, 70% probably? X is, please don't tell me anymore that X is playing. That doesn't mean shit to me anymore. Okay? You need X healthy. That poor man is running around, and I get what Poopar was talking about, the cross, but he got burned right after with Thielen across the back of the end zone. He's not himself, dude. He's not himself. I feel bad for X right now because he's out there sucking it up, and he's telling the coaches, yeah, I can play, and the coaches know that, okay, he can play, but he's really not himself. And then you've got all these injuries, and now you can't bench him. You can't say, hey, X, and you did it last week, but like you can't tell him, hey, you need a couple, because he does. He needs a couple weeks off. Last week he was off, and then this week he's back, and he's still not 100%. You can tell he's not himself. Sucks. So many injuries. I'm so freaking frustrated and pissed off about all these damn injuries. It's a shame. Tanner Connor not working out. Bro, he's a baby and played a couple games. Frankie, come on. It's ridiculous. You don't do that with young players. You give them time to, so Pat Surtain didn't work out for the first year. Not a couple games. First year. I don't know if you know that. Paul Soliai didn't work out, Frankie, for 3 years. Okay? Jay Ajayi was nothing until the end of his rookie year that he actually did a little something and then took off in the second year. Like he had 51 yards or something in a game with a couple carries towards the end of the year. And he had a couple games where he just kind of showed a little something, right? And then he blew up in the second year. So this stuff is, those are lazy takes, Frankie, to give up on a kid that early. Remember, you're converting him. It's a wide receiver that's getting converted to tight end because he's got track speed. You cannot give up on people that early. You sound like Omar Kelly. Omar Kelly does the same shit. He gives up on people right away. And that always frustrates me with him. It's like, yo, dude, relax. Give them a chance before they can play. Nick Needham was terrible the first couple games. And then he figured it out. It's very unfair to judge young players in their first couple games when they get into the NFL. It's not the right thing to do. You got to give them time, Frankie. You have to wonder if the Dolphins are considering a trade for the secondary. Realistically, it's a weak spot right now. Well, not really, because if you think that Byron Jones is coming back for sure, okay, they should know. If he's not coming back, then maybe you're right. But they must figure he's coming back. X will come back. So you lost Needham. So now you got to hope that Kohu, stays healthy and can step in and become, your slot guy. Crossan's been all right. Hopefully that's not a serious injury. But if you're getting back your top two guys, I don't think you're going to trade, because what are you trading for? So can you trade to just, trade a late pick so you can borrow a guy for a couple games? But are you going to trade for like a key guy? Well, wait a minute. You're going to get back Tro Williams next year. You're going to get back Nick Needham next year. So you're getting back guys. What are you going to do with the guys that you've developed? You understand what I'm saying? So that's where this becomes a little tricky. Now, with the Byron Jones thing, I think it's this offseason coming up or the next offseason that you can get out and the penalty is minimal. I have to look it up. But there is a window coming up with Byron Jones. I know that. And I'm not sure if it's this offseason. So what I can tell you is that you could trade for like the Washington kid and then end up keeping him and moving on from Byron Jones. If you have the year, if this is the off season where you can get out and the penalty is not as big. I'll tell you right now in a second. I'm looking up Byron Jones' contract, but I know it's coming up. It's either this off season or the next off season where they're going to be able to move on from him if the window's there. Yes, it's after this season. Exactly. Yes. After this season. Now, it goes down. He had dead cap money his first year if you cut him, $41 million. Second year, $28.4. This year, if you would have cut him, it was a 20.6 hit. Next year becomes 14.8, and the year after that is 10 million even. So next year is where it drops to a point where they could move on from him. So yeah, the window does open up this offseason. So if you can acquire another guy that is starter material for sure, opposite of X, then you might be able to pull off that kind of a trade. It all depends. Yes. You might have a shot at it. Yeah, Iggy did pretty good. It would be really nice if Iggy now starts to turn the corner, because he had the one bad play early and then he made two good plays after that. And he might have graded out actually pretty good in yesterday's game. It would be really nice to see him actually, ball out and become one of those guys. That would be really, 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 really cool. BetUS.com, by the way, is back for its 28th year of NFL action. BetUS offers the industry's biggest sign-up bonuses, folks, up to 200%. And they've got all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB. BetUS offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and those prop bets. I love the prop bets. BetUS also has hundreds of new casino games, including the newest, coolest European slots with live dealers, and they are waiting for you at the tables. BetUS is a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you know that you're going to get paid. Like I said, 28 years now in the NFL. You got a game tonight, and right now the Chargers are favored by 4.5. The over and under is 45.5. What are you waiting for, folks? Go to betus.com. Join now and get up to 200% in bonuses with your promo code BIG. Oh, nobody in the industry gives you better discounts than BetUS. Again, join now. Mention Big O. You get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Come on, man. That is awesome. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS and join today. That's BetUS, where the games begin. All right, all right, all right. Appreciate all of you out there as always. We got Panthers tonight, by the way, in the Bruins. Panthers favored by 1.5 goals. The over and under is 6.5 goals. Panthers minus 130, Bruins plus 110. Heat will open up the season on Wednesday. Bulls and Heat. We got the Broncos and the Chargers tonight. Chargers are favored by 4.5 points. Over and under is 45.5. Broncos plus 185, and the Chargers are minus 215. Well, we gave you a pick in our A-Lenny Locksmith lockdown segment on Saturday. Let's talk about that, and let's give you our pick for tonight.
It's time to lock it down. The Lockdown is brought to you by A-LennyLocksmith.com. Services in South Florida from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A-LennyLocksmith.com locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Here's the Big O to tell you what needs to be locked down.
All righty. All right. Well, we told you to go over 46.5 with the UM game, and obviously we ended up losing that one. So we dropped to 41, 24, and 3. So we're 7 above 500. Still doing pretty well, but lately I got to say we're kind of 500 and maybe just slightly under 500 right here over the last couple of weeks. It hasn't been a good streak. We got to get on a roll. So tonight I'm going to go on the soccer side. And tonight, Inter Miami is in the playoffs against New York City FC. They're playing at Citi Field. So normally they play at Yankee Stadium. They were going to move it to a Red Bull Arena where the Red Bulls play. And that would have been a regular soccer field because the one at the Yankee Stadium is kind of smaller than the average pitch. So they wanted to keep the same kind of pitch. So now they moved it to Citi Field instead. Bastards. But hey, listen, it's less space for old man Higuain to run in. Did you ever think about that, Sean? Huh? Less space and more cigarettes he can smoke. So if you got him, smoke him, Johnny. The line is New York City FC is favored by 1.5 goals, minus 425 there, okay, for that 1.5 goals. New York City FC is favored minus 160 in the money line. But if you want to bet 1.5 goals, you're getting minus 425. That's a crazy line. Now, Miami CF, I don't know if Inter Miami is going to win this game. They're plus 390 on the money line. But plus 1.5 goals. Miami is plus 310. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the defense. I like the goaltending. I think Calendar will play up to snuff. And I think Miami can score now. So I think they'll keep it within the 2 goals. I think if they lose this game, it's a 1-goal game. If not, they win it. One of the two. But I don't think they get blown out here. I think Miami's kind of an upstart bunch right now. So, and I know NYCFC is pretty good, but Miami has finished strong. I'm going to go Inter Miami. I'm going homer pick, plus 1.5 in our A-LennyLocksmith.com lockdown segment.
The Lockdown is brought to you by A-LennyLocksmith.com. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming. All model cars. 24-hour service. Call them anywhere in South Florida at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at A-LennyLocksmith.com where we lock it down.
There we go. I got some idiot. Let's go, Finns. How are the New England Patriots blowing teams out with their third-string QB and the Dolphins can't win with theirs? How come the New England Patriots got dominated with their starting quarterback? So stupid. It's like ridiculous. I'm sorry. Are the New England Patriots missing their starting corners and backup corners? And are they missing their starting tackles too? I'm not sure. Are they?
And they beat Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. Just fans. That's why you're fanatical, bro. You just don't really have objectivity. You can't think level-headed. You come up with stupid shit like that. Like, oh, how come the Patriots are blowing them out? Patriots got dogged by the Dolphins. The hell are you talking about, dude? Even Don Shula picked Sammy Smith instead of Emmitt Smith, the wrong Smith. That's right. That is correct. The drug kingpin. Well, we needed a drug kingpin on the team, sir. What is wrong with you? Every team needs a drug kingpin, and Shoes knew that Sammy Smith, oh, that guy looks like a drug dealer if I've ever seen one. He's going to be a drug kingpin. I need one. So that was the problem, sir. See, that's where you got it wrong. See, Emmitt was not a drug kingpin. We're in Miami. It's the 80s. Cocaine's flowing everywhere. You figure you need a drug kingpin down here. And it's not Emmitt Smith. You got to go get Sammy Smith. And sure enough, he failed and then went into drugs and served time in jail for being a drug kingpin. Sammy Smith. What's wrong with you? Sir, everybody needs a drug kingpin on the team, and especially in the 80s, Miami. If you didn't get a drug kingpin, you would have picked on Shula the entire. What's he doing getting a real running back in Emmitt Smith? This guy's gaining yards and scoring touchdowns. I want a guy selling kilos. And we got it. Sammy was like, Miami's drafting me? Awesome. I can now start making my connections. So he came down here, talked to Tony, talked to Lopez, went over to Lopez, dealer. And Lopez said, don't be a Hazarai. A Hazarai is a pig that doesn't fly straight. And so all of that went on. And unfortunately, Sammy Smith was a pig that didn't fly straight. And so he ended up in jail. Okay. But Shoes, he got what he wanted. Wanted a drug kingpin. We got it. It's awesome. Where was Ingram yesterday? I think he was in one of the suites watching the game. He was in charge of the remote, sir. So he had a big job yesterday. 2K Savage says NFL screwing the Dolphins over with the penalties, and those refs were ready to call penalties on the Dolphins while the Vikings got away with many penalties. Mike says, I would ask you this, Leva, who has Greer drafted on the offensive line that has turned out to be a worthwhile starter? Well, Hunt is actually graded out as like top 5, top 10 in the league at his position at right guard. Austin actually started showing signs of life, but we got to see him get back there. It's all right. But see, Mike, the idea is it's about drafting a team. And overall, they've done a really good job of putting together a team, the front office. But if you want to pick and choose certain things, yeah, you can do that. You can pick on it. There's no doubt that there hasn't been enough production out of the offensive line. But there's a lot of production all over the place. You know, it's like somebody yesterday. Who was it? It was one of our usuals. That was like, the Teddy Bridgewater signing is not that good. Okay, but you're going to leave out the Skylar Thompson drafting? You know. So it goes both ways, man. You know, you can pick and choose if you want. But would you rather have what's going on now or the crap that's gone on for the last 20 years? Because this looks like a pretty damn good team that has a whole shit ton of luck, bad luck. That's all it is. But that's why idiots come out and say, where are you guys with the Fire Boyer thing, right? You shut up now, right? After this week, right? You shut up now. The whole thing, Tua can't play. Well, you shut up now, right? Oh, Mike McDaniel can't coach. Well, you shut up now. So now that they've lost 3 in a row and they're injury riddled, now you come up with the stupid shit to like point little things out. But meanwhile, if the tackles were healthy and they would be, and the quarterback was healthy, they'd be 5-1, 6-0. I think they'd be 6-0, and nobody would be saying anything. But because of the 3 games, panic sets in for some of you. So now you have to point the fingers and say, oh, this guy sucks, and that guy can't do his job, and that guy can't do his job. You know. Meanwhile, he's finding X, then he finds Nick Needham, then he's finding Trill Williams and Cater Kohu, but then you'll just pick on the Noah Igbenogany one. See what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that it's just people are never satisfied. And then you have the idiots. Well, why did they sign Cedric Wilson? Because he doesn't get the ball. Well, moron, they signed Cedric Wilson before Tyreek was available. Then Tyreek became available, so they went and traded for Tyreek because they figured Tyreek and Waddle would be a better combination, and they'll suck it up with Cedric. And if anything, they'll trade him down the line or whatever, but they'd rather take the loss of Cedric not being as big a factor because they had to acquire Tyreek. But the lazy fan, who's been several of you, point out Cedric Wilson, and then you knock the GM for it. When the GM, they were looking at Cedric Wilson and Tyreek to be their 1 and 2. Waddle and Cedric to be their 1 and 2. They had no idea that Tyreek was ever going to be available. And then all of a sudden he becomes available. It's all a bunch of just crap convenience by people. Because you want to point out a couple things that have gone wrong, but then you don't point out all the other things that went right. And there's a reason why you easily would be 5 or 6 wins right now if it's not for bad luck. But you go ahead and panic and want to fire everybody and that every player sucks. I don't like our decisions at running back either. Duke Johnson, Sony Michel, and the other guy they let go, small running backs that can't catch. Sony Michel sucks. He didn't do anything. I'm not sure what you saw, but they cut Sony Michel. So they didn't keep him on this team this year. And the other guy, Duke Johnson, yeah, he had a couple games, but what's Duke Johnson doing now? Did anybody pick him up? Did anybody make a play? Come on, man. Nothing is perfect, but overall, they've done a really good job, and they should be way better than what they are now. All right. Did anybody notice on the Tampa Bay broadcast that they put a close-up for a minute on McDaniel play sheet to the point I could read it? I thought that was weird. Didn't notice it. We're going to be at Caneswear tomorrow, John. Actually. So, yes, we will be at Caneswear tomorrow. Okay. What else do we have going on? Remember, Caneswear tomorrow, Thursday, Hialeah Park, Friday, Homestead, Saturday, Kendall walk-ons. Remember, we start our broadcast at 10:30. They open at 11. We will have giveaways from Perdomo Cigars, giveaways from Caneswear, taste testing from Edge Energy Drink, and a beer company is going to be there. I can't tell you which beer company. Okay? That's up to them, but we're also going to we're going to have all kinds of giveaways and prizes every quarter. We give away at the end of every quarter, we give away some gifts. So come on out and join us, man, at Walk-Ons in Kendall off 162nd and Kendall Drive. You can come on the west side by Chrome Avenue and come down on Kendall Drive, or you go down on the Turnpike and get off on Kendall Drive and go west about 7-10 minutes. You're there, and you'll be hanging out with us. Big, giant, beautiful bar. The food is exceptional. Okay? How were those sliders, Sean? Huh? Sean had the mozzarella logs. He had the sliders. He was loving life, as we like to say here on the program. What else do we have? Fire Boyer. Why? Because his defense is even with third stringer CBs are still keeping his team in the game. Yeah. No, I had people that wanted to fire Josh Boyer already. Now the special teams coach, that one, Mike McDaniel might be looking for a new special teams coach, but so far I like what I see from Boyer, man. I don't blame him. I gotta blame, Jalen Phillips. He's got to pick it up. Now, one thing I will say, they adjusted. They're playing Jalen more on the line yesterday, which was good. I want to give. Let me switch gears here a second. I told you this morning I was in the car for a moment, and I was listening to Joe, and he had on Cristobal, and I would imagine that's the repeat the repeat interview, because it was at the end of the show. And so I want to give Coach Cristobal some credit. I like honesty. And even when you screw up, but I like when you address your screw up and fix it, because then that tells me that you're not hard-headed and thinking that your way is the only way and that everybody else has got to adjust. And one of the things that I've been very critical of with Josh Gaddis, and I thought he did a piss poor job overall starting off, was he forced his offense down the throat of these players instead of using elements from the prior offense, because it's plays to the strength of the players that are there currently, and then ease what you want to do into it and adjust along the way as you get the talent that you want to run your offense. And example is the no huddle, which they pretty much took it completely away from Tyler, and then now they've brought it back in the last couple of weeks, and obviously super heavy in the last two games, and you've seen the results. And so I saw Mario tell Joe that, we've adjusted our offense to the talent that we have. And one, I want to commend Mario on that. Okay, one of the things I like about Mario and why I'm sure he's going to fix everything that's going on with this program is that he is willing to acknowledge it. And when they screw up and when they don't play well, like the penalties, he's willing to acknowledge it. There are no excuses, none of that shit. So that tells me that he will address it. Kudos, big time, because it was terrible coaching on Josh Gaddis' part. There's no other way of phrasing it. There are no excuses for Josh Gaddis. It was terrible. He's a bad coach for doing what he did at the beginning of the year. Now, he's adjusted, whether it's his, that's the part I don't know. Is this Mario saying, yo, we need to adjust to this and play more to Tyler's strength? We're doing a disservice to the kid. We also have, remember, your job is to develop players and put them in positions to be successful. If you tear down careers, that doesn't sell very well in recruiting. So building Tyler back up again and playing to his strengths proves that you're a good coach and you're willing to make the adjustments, and you're also willing to make the sacrifices for your own players. They weren't willing to do that for Tyler early on, and I blame Josh Gaddis for that completely. One, he didn't even realize that it wasn't a good idea during training camp in the offseason. So that tells me that's bad coaching. Josh Gaddis for me is like right now on a deep C minus. He barely got out of a D right now. So I need to see more before I believe that that's the guy that you got to use. But kudos to Mario. They adjusted. You got to do that. When you make mistakes, make sure you correct them. You want your players to correct them. Coaches need to correct them too. So kudos there. It's kind of like the whole Jalen Phillips thing. I saw him rushing the passer more. Stop dropping him back in coverage. He's not ready yet for that. Can we just let him become a werewolf? And when he's a werewolf and he's getting double-digit sacks and all that, then you start easing him into other things. But for now, he get him out of thinking. Just get him out attacking. He's best at that. Leva says, Cristobal is a first-year coaching UM players. He knows how to win, and he will adjust. Exactly. I'm a Cristobal guy. I'll tell you when they screw up. I'll tell you when he's got to fix something. I'll tell you that. I don't care. I'm not worried about that. And I'm patient. I'm going to give him some time to turn this thing around. He should. I'm expecting year 3 to be a real impact year for the Canes. Next year, I need to see improvements, and then year 3, I need to see that takeoff. That okay, you're headed in that direction. Because 3 recruiting classes and the NILs and transfer and all that. Robbie Anderson, the knucklehead, got traded. The Cardinals trade for the knucklehead. He got kicked off the field yesterday by Steve Wilkes. He's always been a knucklehead, dude. He's been a knucklehead forever. Nothing new. Whatever. Big O, did you get to ask Tua about Hero Ball? Has he had a press conference, sir? People are just lazy, bro. Like, how do you ask a question and you're not prepared? Like, you should know. Did you see a press conference? Did he hold a press conference where everybody was talking with him? Do you keep up with sports at all? Oh, man. Anyway. I really hope we can win by 2+ scores by running the ball and getting turnovers. Hope we can use this game to ease Tua back into it. I don't know about them being great running. That's one thing we have not seen from this team. You know what I'm saying? Ray says it's funny how 560 QM still does weather and traffic reports. Well, it's all for ads. You know, that's all it is. That's why they have their 6-7 minute commercials and their updates and all that, because it's all tied to sponsors. But they're doing a disservice to all those sponsors because nobody's listening to those commercial breaks. Everybody tunes out in commercial breaks. It's kind of the way things are nowadays. That's why you've got to do it a little differently. Things have to be done a little differently in this world. But whatever. You know. Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you for idiotic programming and everything that they do. I appreciate it. And they're so broke. They can't even afford to change their minds. That's how broke they are. So all you got to do is tune into the stream, and you'll hear all the commercial breaks are full of like PSAs. I mean, it's a joke. It really is. It's that station is a shell of what it used to be 15, 20, 25 years ago when it was ballin', when it was like a real sports station. It's been pretty much on the decline for like 10 years now. Yeah, pretty much. I would say about 10 years it's been on the decline. And yeah, it's pretty much dog shit at this point. Let's see. Big O, what if we lose next week to B-Flow? You know how it is, bro. You can go call those other shows, man, that want to play the hypotheticals. I don't need hypotheticals to create sports talk, my brother. So we're good. We'll talk about reality and what actually goes on. When is there going to be a 3-second rule for a QB to get off the ground? I don't know. Terrestrial radio is unlistenable. Yes, it is. Do you think the Dolphins will trade? No, they will not trade for Christian McCaffrey. No. They definitely will not do that. I can tell you that. When sports and business collide, we like doing something here called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All right. Yes, sir. So it looks like the Titans are making some moves, man. The Titans are going to get themselves a new domed stadium. The Titans have agreed with Nashville Mayor John Cooper to build a new stadium. According to a report by Axios, the 1.7 million square foot stadium will have a dome, making it possible to host a Super Bowl and other major events year-round. It will be located east of Nissan Stadium along the East Bank. The project is said to cost up to $2.2 billion, must be approved by Metro Council. Titans ownership has reportedly agreed to put up $800 million to help funding the project. The stadium also will be funded by a $500 million investment by the state. Other funding includes a 1% tax on local hotels rentals in Davidson County, along with sales tax collected within the new stadium. There you go. Their current stadium has 23 years of wear and tear. I laugh because, like, you're building arenas, stadiums now after they're 23 years old. Like, that's nothing. Hard Rock Stadium is in, what is it, 97, I want to say? No. 88, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, late 80s. Not late 90s, late 80s. And they've renovated it and upgraded it, and I got to give Tom Garfinkel a crap ton of credit, because when they first showed those renderings with those poles on each side and all that stuff, it kind of looked awkward and all that stuff. And now that it's been there, it looks effing cool. And at night, when it's lit up in different colors and all that kind of stuff, stadium looks fantastic. And they've done such a beautiful job of updating it and upgrading it, and whether it's the seating, whether it's the roof, the screens on each corner, the club level, the outside with the bridges and the tunnels and everything else. They've done a beautiful job of upgrading that stadium, man. So impressed. So these people are building a new stadium after 23 years. Wow. Man. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
So Kanye West is going to buy the social media platform Parler. So I guess when you're crazy and you're irresponsible constantly and tweeting out just stupid stuff, I think he just recently tweeted out that what was it? George Floyd did not die from the cops, that he died from some drug or something. It's like, this guy is just, he's out there. So, whether you're Kanye West and local or you got orange hair, either way, you buy your own platform. And he was booted from Twitter and Instagram. So I'm just wondering, is this going to be called the local platform? And I'm talking about local like crazy, like the wacko platform. Is that what they're going to call Kanye West platform? I love it. Too funny. Kanye West. Oh, so Lamar Jackson We're the Lamar Jackson folks now. 3 minutes left in the game yesterday. They needed a quarterback, and he throws that interception. You know, it's tight games, and when you need a real quarterback, but don't worry, you know, they beat the Jets, the Pats, and the Bengals. You know, Baltimore, they're 3-3. Giants beat them 24-20. Lamar Jackson throws a late interception. He's averaging, 62% completion percentage, 61.9. He's got 13 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. But don't worry, he can rush. He's got 56 rushes for 451 yards and 2 touchdowns. Boy, all that stuff. And I always laugh at the people that talk him up like he's the second coming. It's amazing. Yeah, I just want to, I'm going to keep reiterating this stuff. I did it with Tannehill, and eventually I got all the fools off of that already, right? No more idiots are talking about Tannehill. I mean, by now, if you think Tannehill's a real quarterback, you are as stupid as they come. Lamar Jackson, I get it. You're still wowed by the athleticism and the speed, and you don't realize that athleticism and speed doesn't really make you a real quarterback. But, I just saw again, watched him pee in his pants at the end of games because then you want him to beat you with his arm, and that's not who he is. But don't worry, there'll be a game this year that he'll get lucky and things will go well and he'll have a couple passes because he's an athlete. So there'll be a moment where you'll brag about him and say, oh, no, see, he can do it. But more often than not, against the Bills, he pees his pants. Against the Dolphins, he pees his pants. And yesterday against the Giants, he pees his pants. But don't worry, you keep thinking that he's a real quarterback. Don't worry about it. That'll work out great for you in the end. All of you guys that don't know the difference between an athlete playing quarterback and a real quarterback, don't worry about it. This will all catch up to all of you out there. But it was, it was normal to see Lamar Jackson pee in his pants when they actually need somebody to win with an arm. But there you go. Mike No Go Zone says, sorry for joining late. Thank you for the love in the super chat. I was at the game yesterday, and I swear I thought I was at a Barney convention from all the purple jerseys. Fair weathered, bro. Fair weathered. Now Tua returns this week, and more people will go on the bandwagon. Less people will sell their tickets. Those kind of things. And if he continues to win, then you'll see more and more aqua and orange and less of the visiting fans. But for now, you still have a group of Dolphin fans that are not going to be convinced. That's just the way it is. Big O, I just got here. I'm going to watch the first show when you're done talking today. Well, thank you, Brian Walters. He's on the Cuts page. Let's see what else. Sean Campbell's on the Cuts page. He's never on the Cuts page. He's always on the mothership. He says, hearing Armstead and Jackson should be good for Sunday. Yes. Ricardo Cuchican says, Big O here from Argentina, really upbeat with the future of the season as soon as we get Tua. There you go. Soon, by the way, you will not be able to catch the show on Cuts anymore. We will be taking it off of Cuts already. So later on in the week, you'll see that it will not come up on Cuts anymore. So you'll have to come back over to the mothership. What else do we have here? So I appreciate all of you out there. A Herschel Walker reference, really? Yeah, of course. I've got to make fun of that one. That was too funny. Plastic badges and stuff. Big O, where are the cornerstones to this Dolphins rebuild? QB, left tackle, CB, pass rusher. Does Greer didn't he draft X? And Tua is the franchise quarterback. He didn't draft the left tackle, but he did draft a cornerback, and he did draft the quarterback and the cornerback that you're talking about. Those are his draft picks. Not sure if you know that. Okay? I don't know. But by the way, the guy that plays safety, that's a cornerstone player too. I don't know if you know about Christian Wilkins. That's a cornerstone player there at defensive tackle. Not sure if you know about those kind of things. Not sure. Jalen Waddle, that's a number 1 wide receiver. Cornerstone. Not sure if you know that, my man. Cornerstone. Make sure you're prepared when you chime into this show. Please make sure you're prepared. Not going to be a good trip for you on this show. If I get to the question, if I read it, please make sure it's a good one. Because if not, we're going to slice you up like OJ and Brentwood. Oh, have you noticed that Sanders keeps missing his kicks due to them bending to the right? I'm not a soccer fan, but isn't this a matter of where he's striking? Dougie, I have no idea. I'm not a kicking expert. Not a kicking expert, my man. So I have no idea. All I know is it's something to be concerned about. And he needs to fix it in the next couple of weeks, because if not, then, yeah, you're going to have to part ways with his ass by the end of the year. Okay? But I don't know why he's kicking, why he's missing to one side or the other. That I'm just not sure of. DMB Entertainment says, Big O, my dad and I will be heading down to South Florida this weekend to catch the Dolphins and decided to buy tickets to go to Florida Live Arena for Friday's matchup versus the Bolts. Should be 2 great games. There we go. And Saturday, you should come out to Walk-Ons in Kendall and join us for the UM broadcast. You might win some free prizes. We can meet. So come on out there, man. You're always supporting the show. We'd love to meet you out there. Look, Thursday, we're going to be out at Hialeah Park. Friday, you can't meet us over at Homestead, I don't think. But Saturday, you can meet us at Walk-Ons. So come on out, man. Carlos says, smart business track their advertising. There are ways to know where the customers are coming from. Anyone who does not track their marketing is an idiot. You tell him, Carlos. Hard to miss when you pick top 5, Big O. I'm sorry, X was in the second round. Waddle was number 6, so not top 5. Javon Holland was second round. Wilkins was the 13th pick in the draft. I'm sorry, did you say top 5, all those picks? Or did you say that you were wrong, that they were all out of the top 5? Once again, be prepared before you chime in, because then you chime in and then you say something stupid. Hard to miss when you pick top 5, Big O. Do you do your homework? Because I hope your balls are big, because your brain is pea. Okay? You got a pea brain. So I hope you have big balls. I hope your brains are where your balls are at, because you've got no intelligence whatsoever. Okay? There you go. Hard to miss when they're top 5, Big O. But they didn't pick any of those guys at top 5. Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking with my balls. The Dolphins missed with Deion Jordan. Yeah, that was a long time ago, Lenny Pena. I should block you just for that, because nobody's talking about Jeff Ireland, bro. That's not Chris Greer. Really, you really deserve a block for that. Okay? You're on double secret probation now, Lenny Pena. Just want you to know that. I'm going to remember Lenny Pena now. You are on double secret probation. Okay? All right? We're talking about something that's going on now, and you bring up that fool, both fools, Deion and Jeff Ireland. Come on, man. These guys make me laugh. Yeah, no, they should, Anthony, because stupidity is kind of funny. I was responding to big balls, Big O. Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Okay. Well, thank you. Then you're off double secret probation. Then you were well, you know what? Let me slam the guys with no brains. Don't you do it, Lenny, because then I got to include you with that crap. Okay, let's go after big ball. Let me do the crushing on this whole thing here. Trust me, I'm well suited to do this, so don't worry about it. We got those guys. See, the problem with big balls, he doesn't realize that I'm the one with the big balls. That's the difference. Greer needs to answer for a pick Ireland made in 2013. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate you, bro. If I had a prize, I'd give you a prize just for that, for making me laugh. I love it. Oh, man. Big O, how do you know Greer didn't pick Deion Jordan? Because Greer didn't make any picks until he's been in charge. Okay. There you go. You're going to need another email, bro. And you may not want to screw that one up because you'll get blocked again. Oh, in all your years watching kickers go through highs and lows, do you think that they can get inside their own heads more than most players? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure. Kickers, it's all mental with kickers. Yes. Uwe von Schaman, Olindo Mare. I've watched all kinds of kickers go awry. And when they lose it, they lose it. That's it. They're done. And they don't get it back more often than not. Mare found a little bit more of his groove like Stella in Seattle for a short time, but he wasn't ever the same again. So, yeah, no, I've seen it. And it's all mental with those guys. Because it's not ability. It's not something like, oh, my God, all of a sudden they've got a weak leg. And they can't. No, that happens to kickers that are old. That they've been in the league for a long time. And then as they get older, then they're losing a little juice on their legs. They're still accurate, but, you know, that I can see because as you're getting older, hey, we all get older. We're not the same. But once you start seeing a guy that was in a groove for a couple of years and then he starts missing, it becomes a thing in their heads. Yeah. All mental, 100%. No one picked Dan Marino 27 except Shoes after Blackledge, Eason, and Ken O'Brien. Yes. Was it 27 or was it like 25 or something like that? 24. I don't know why I thought it was a little earlier in 27, but you might be right. It was so long ago, I kind of forgot. Hey, wait a minute. This is one time I don't have to go on the internet to go find it. Let's see. 6'2", 228, college Pittsburgh, drafted by the Dolphins, number 1 in 1983. But it doesn't say the number in the first round. Dan, it says in the back of his rookie card, says Dan in a classic drop back quarterback with a rifle arm and quick release. He accorded all-pro recognition last season and was named to the Pro Football Weekly's all-rookie team. Dan is adept at reading defenses and picking up blitzes. Dan first became a quarterback in the 9th grade, Pee Wee League. 9th grade is Pee Wee League? Okay. Yes, sir.
So to add a little more context to the Robbie Anderson trade, just so the Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown suffered a potential season-ending foot injury Sunday.
I know that.
Of course, he's undergoing further testing today to determine the extent of the injury, and then, of course, the trade, Robbie Anderson now going to the Cardinals.
There you go. Boy, you are desperate if you're trading for Robbie Anderson. What are you going to do, right? Or you could trade for Julius Irving from the Squires. Could do that. Did you guys notice how they couldn't get oh man, whose name was it that they kept butchering over the weekend? Damn it, in the broadcast.
Igbenogany.
Igbenogany. That was awesome. Which I don't blame them. We only get it because, they drafted the kid here, so we have to repeat it a whole bunch of them, and then we end up learning it. But if you don't have to repeat Igbenogamy, you're going to get it wrong. It was so funny. That was awesome yesterday, how they kept screwing that up. Oh, that was so good. Marino was picked 27th because he was drafted the year after the Finns lost to the Super Bowl to Washington. Oh, that makes sense. Robbie Anderson got into it with the wide receivers coach. No, that's definitely why he got traded. I know that. That's why he got kicked off the team. Robbie's been a knucklehead throughout his career, dude. He's done dumb things. This is nothing new. He had to take a pay cut to stay on the team this year. And and his contract wasn't even guaranteed next year. His whole salary was non-guaranteed because they obviously that was a mistake giving him that extension. He's had his moments, but please, it's nothing. He's a serviceable backup or something like that. Oh, you ever been to a Spinal Tap concert back in the day? No, I've never went to a Spinal Tap concert, but I do have an amplifier that goes to 11. I will tell you that my amplifier also goes to 11. I'm just saying. Just want to let's get clear on that, okay? Because the guys at Spinal Tap like to brag that their amps go to 11. Well, my amp goes to 11 too. Okay. I wanted to make sure when I called the folks at Marshall. I said, hey, 11. I need mine to go to 11. Oh, we only have no. I'm asking for 11, so give it a little more juice. And they said, okay. Spinal Tap, break like the wind. The Miami Dolphins chose Marino as the 27th pick in the first round from Internet Search. Thank you, John Santos. Big Bottom, talk about bum cakes. My girls got them. I like it. Speaking of bum cakes, okay? Speaking of that, somebody was actually daring to, question Paige Sporanic. And, these are things that you should never do in life. So Paige, she wanted to tell the folks out there because Paige was calling herself a betting sharp, which is a term. She's 19-10 with her college football picks. But people were picking on her for calling herself a betting sharp. So she wanted to give us a lesson in gambling.
So I jokingly called myself a football sharp because I've gone 19-10 with my college football picks. And everyone in my comments were like, huh, sharp? Don't you mean betting shark? Why don't you stick to being bad at golf and showing off your cleavage and leaving the betting to the men? Although hard to agree on the cleavage line, the correct term is indeed sharp. A sharp is an experienced, knowledgeable, and successful sports bettor. They're getting confused with card shark. A card shark is someone who wins a lot of money on card games, but by cheating. So I thought, hey, let's go over some more betting terms. Chalk means favorite. Dog means underdog. The line is the current odds or point spread offered on a particular game. Pick'em means that no team is favored and considered a toss-up. A bad beat is when you lose a bet that looked like a guaranteed win, usually when something very unlucky happens. Hope that helped. So I jokingly called myself a football sharp because I've gone 19-10 with.
There we go. I want to thank Paige because, and mother, who's complaining about the cleavage? Huh? What? Leave Paige alone. She wants to talk gambling, let her talk gambling. She wants to talk golf, let her talk. Whatever she wants to talk about. Whatever she wants to put on. Or take off. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Who's complaining about cleavage? What is wrong with you? Seriously. Man. So it's always good to hear from Paige Sporanic, right? I mean, these are things that we love. Paige Sporanic. We're big fans of hers on the show. We got to get her on the show because she looks like a fun person to have on the show, right? Got to admit that. All right, Cutter's Edge, by the way, proud sponsor of our program. We love talking about Cutter's Edge, full landscape design. They can work with you to design, create one for you, folks. And when you talk about Cutter's Edge, by the way, they've also got their weekly radio show on WIOD at noon. So you want to learn more about landscaping, get that green thumb. You can listen to Will and all the great people there at Cutter's Edge. They are the total landscape solution. They do lawns and landscape maintenance for medium to large HOAs, condominiums, corporate parks, and large commercial building complexes. They do it all in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Landscape lighting from Pathways, man. They've got the basic LED lights, the color-changing technology, and I'm telling you, you are going to love it. And if you need to clear up that yard, you've got trees, maybe some of your trees are running into wires or maybe running into the roof and all that. Don't go doing the dangerous stuff, folks, and putting yourself at risk. Call the pros, okay, at cuttersedgepro.com. Ask for Will, ask for Mike. Tell them that Big O sent you. 954-472-0622. They can cut down any tree you need, or maybe you want to take down a big old tree that's in the way of your house and you want to plant another one. Cutter's Edge can do all of those things for you. Call William, call Mike, tell them that Big O sent you. 954-472-0622 or cuttersedgepro.com. All right. By the way, did you see that Robert Kraft got married this weekend? Did you check that out? So Robert Kraft got married, and guess who wasn't there? Bill Belichick. Yeah. So the old man gets married, and Bill Belichick is not there to see it. What do you think about that? Tom Brady was there. Randy Moss was there. Bunch of people were there, man. Drew Bledsoe was there. Ty Law was there. Richard Seymour was there. Troy Brown was there. Vince Wilfork was there. Gerard Mayo was there. Devin McCourty was there. Matthew Slater. David Andrews. A lot of people. Elton John performed at Robert Kraft's wedding. And Ed Sheeran, too. Also, how cool is that? Ed Sheeran also with Elton John. That's but no Belichick. Says he was busy and all this and that. That relationship isn't as if you think it's a good one, I don't believe it's a good one. I think it's one that they tolerate each other, and he tolerates him because he wins. The question is, will he win big anymore? Because I don't think he will. And if he doesn't, how long does Kraft stay with Belichick? Because to me, I think this is something that this has been the beginning of the end. Because they don't look like any kind of team that's going to challenge for anything whatsoever again. So since Brady left, a guy that Belichick pushed out the door, but Kraft did not want to, that already has wrecked the relationship a little bit. What also wrecked the relationship was that he wanted to go with Garoppolo and move on from Brady, but the owner was like, no, you trade Garoppolo, we're staying with Brady. So that was a power move over him, which again shows that Belichick is lost his touch. Because if you were already thinking you can move on with Garoppolo, have you watched what's happened with him since? Yeah, that's not Tom Brady. So you can tell me whatever you want, but to me, that relationship is on the rocks, as they say. Okay? Anyway, we shall see how that one turns out. All right. Did Stephen Ross go to the wedding to tamper with some more players? Yeah, that would be, yeah. Only a matter of time before Kraft is back at the parlor. Yes, sir. I would say that you are correct. He will be maybe he bought the Asian Day Spa now. He should probably own a few. All right, folks, it is time to wrap it up here on the show. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank Alan Poopar, Andy Behrens. As always, thank you all out there. Tomorrow we'll be in Davie. We'll be at Caneswear. So come on out and join us out there at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie, starting off at 10 a.m. We'll be rocking and rolling. Appreciate all of you out there. Y'all be good. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.